Chapter 3973. The moment the phone was connected, Lin Fei heard Yu Zishan's weak voice. "Boss, something happened in the villa." Lin Fei could tell that Yu Zishan's voice was not right. He must have been seriously injured. What happened? In Donghai, Lin Fei had some understanding of Yu Zishan's strength. There were only a few grandmasters in Donghai who could match a grandmaster middle-stage expert. Lin Fei did not believe that anyone would attack Yu Zishan. A cold voice came from the other side of the phone. "Lin Fei, if you don't want to see Yu Zishan die, then come to Longting Villa immediately. Our young master wants to see you." Whoosh! The phone on the other side of the phone was violently destroyed, making a cracking sound. "Young master." Lin Fei raised the corner of his mouth, and a cold light flashed across his eyes. No one knew better than him who this voice belonged to. "Invincible God, who persuaded you to come to deal with me?" Lin Fei's memory was very good. Even if he had not spoken to someone before, he would know who it was as soon as he heard their voice. The voice just now was one of the strong men who stood beside Invincible God at the auction last night. In this situation, it was obvious that Invincible God was persuaded by someone and came to Longting Villa to injure Yu Zishan. The Shen clan, one of the three major clans in the south, is indeed influential. Even the Medicine King Valley has to curry favor with them. I guess he has given my Longting Manor to the Shen clan. Once the Shen clan gets the Longting Manor, they will have the opportunity to intervene in Donghai. It can be considered as taking a step forward, and no one will be able to stop them. Lin Fei stretched out his hand and stopped a taxi. He got in directly. "Take me to Longting Villa." Lin Fei closed his eyes and rested. The taxi driver had naturally heard of Longting Villa, which was a mysterious existence in Donghai. He did not dare to ask anything and pulled Lin Fei away. Half an hour later, the taxi arrived at the parking lot of Longting Villa. At this time, a black Rolls-Royce Phantom was parked in the parking lot. The black body of the car looked very domineering. Lin Fei handed over 100 yuan and got out of the car. "Rolls-Royce Phantom, humph." Lin Fei snorted and casually waved his hand. With a bang, the Lawrence Phantom was sent flying with a slap. It kept rolling on the ground, and when it stopped, it became tattered. A luxury car was destroyed, just like that. The taxi driver was scared out of his wits and immediately fled. Too scary, too scary. Lin Fei's eyes turned cold. "How dare you behave atrociously in my territory? Your Shin family is not qualified." The interior of the Longting Villa was undergoing renovation, but it was quiet today. There was no dust flying everywhere, but the interior of the Longting Villa appeared to be in a mess. At this moment, a figure was sitting in the hall. Two strong men stood on the left and right sides, glaring like tigers watching their prey like guards. Yu Zishan lay on the ground with a pale face. "You will definitely regret becoming enemies with my boss," Yu Zishan said with difficulty. Even though the person in front of him was Shen Wudi, Yu Zishan was not afraid at all. He knew that his boss was more powerful than they were. Actually, ever since Shen Wudi came to the Longting Villa, Yu Zishan knew that this must be the Medicine King Valley's doing. Shen Wudi was convinced. He wanted to spy on the Longting Villa. However, Yu Zishan still underestimated Shen Wudi's power. Shen Wudi did not even need to make a move himself. His two subordinates defeated him. If the other party did not keep him alive, Yu Zishan knew that he would definitely die. Shen Wudi held a glass of red wine in his hand. This was his habit. No matter where he went, he liked to drink red wine. "Yu Zishan, you are one of the grandmasters of East Sea. I never thought that there would be a day when you would rely on someone. However, the person you acknowledge doesn't seem to be very good. If you had chosen to rely on the Shen family of the south, your influence in East Sea would be even greater than before. Even the Yan Huang battle team would have to give you face. It's a pity that you chose a young man. Looks like you're getting old and muddled." Shen Wudi took a sip of red wine, full of disdain. Yu Zishan said coldly, "So what if I'm willing? Who doesn't know that the Shen family of the south is like a pack of wolves, leopards, and tigers? Anything that you set your eyes on will not have a good ending. However, this East Sea is not a place for you to be so presumptuous. But don't worry, when Lin Fei arrives, I will slowly teach him how to be a man. Then, I will slowly deal with you. For an old thing like you, I love to let you slowly accept reality. Only then can I better deal with you. That is why all my enemies have always died in agony, because killing them with a single slash is definitely not something that they will be happy about. It is equivalent to letting them off easy, only by letting them live, and then ending their lives amidst their hatred, regret, and frustration, is the true meaning of teaching them a lesson. And you are qualified for me to teach you such a lesson." Invincible God laughed out loud. "You are so confident that you dare to speak to me like this. But don't worry, when Lin Fei arrives, I will slowly teach him how to be a man." Invincible God suddenly looked towards the door and saw a figure walking towards them. "Speak of the devil. Lin Fei, it seems like you have some guts. You actually came here so quickly." Invincible God looked at Invincible God. A figure appeared at the door and walked over unhurriedly. It was none other than Lin Fei. When he came to the door, he saw Yu Zishan lying on the ground. He was badly injured. "Invincible God, you've got some guts. To think that you would dare to act so insolently in my Longting Mountain manor. I really wonder who gave you the guts to do so. Kneel down right now and apologize to Yu Zishan. Let's satisfy him first. Who knows? He might even show you mercy later on," Lin Fei said calmly with his hands behind his back. "Be ****. How dare you speak to our young master like that?" Instantly, 2 burly men pounced on him. They released their Grandmaster aura. They were both physique refinement Grandmasters. Their punches and kicks contained immense power. It was extremely terrifying. Yu Zishan hurriedly said, "Boss, be careful. They're both physique refinement Grandmasters. They're at least in the mid-stage of Grandmaster." Usually a single physique refinement Grandmaster was rather terrifying. Now that there were 2 of them, especially in close combat, they had an absolute advantage. Even if a mid-stage or late-stage Grandmaster came, they wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. If they were unlucky, they would suffer. Yu Zishan wasn't a match for them, and was defeated easily. "Break Lin Fei's legs first. How dare you speak to me like that? How impudent!" Shinwudi took another sip of red wine and revealed a cruel smile. "I don't like people like you. So, you can only speak while kneeling." Chapter 3974. The 2 burly men attacked from all sides. When they attacked Lin Fei, the power of their punches and kicks caused an invisible impact on everything around them, making tearing sounds. This was the strength of a body refining Grandmaster. Invincible God slowly tasted his red wine. He wanted to see what gave this Lin Fei the right to put on airs in front of him. In the territory of the South, he was the only one who could put on airs. No one else could. This was because he was the strongest of the generation. Facing the attacks of the 2 strong men, Lin Fei did not dodge. He just slowly extended his hands. He was neither fast nor slow. Like catching a snail in the water, he caught the fists of the 2 body, refining Grandmasters in an instant. The moment their fists were caught, the expressions of the 2 body, tempering Grandmasters, suddenly changed. With the fastest speed they could muster, they ruthlessly kicked Lin Fei's body. They even used a series of kicks, one after the other. It was clear just how rich their combat experience was. Lin Fei was still very calm. He swung the hands that were holding their fists at them as if he was swinging noodles. Rumble! A wave of power exploded on their bodies. How strong were the physical bodies of the 2 tempered body cultivators! However, they were tossed aside like a pile of mud by Lin Fei in an instant. In my eyes, body refining martial artists are the same. They are just more resilient than ordinary people, Lin Fei said with a smile. Invincible God, what do you think? Invincible God was unfazed. He drank all the wine in his mouth and threw the glass on the ground. He moved his body. No wonder you have the ability to make musicians submit to you. You do have some strength. These two body, refining grandmasters of mine have defeated countless grandmasters ever since they reached the body, refining, grand completion. It's really rare to see someone like you seriously injure them without even making a sound. However, this kind of trash has lost, so be it. Shinwudi was talking about a normal matter. With the strength of our Shen family, it's just a matter of time before we can train them again. However, I'm very interested in you. You're actually a master in body refinement as well. I wonder, between your body refinement and mine, who's better? Invincible God was interested in Lin Fei. As they chatted, they glided over. He closed the distance of 7 or 8 meters in an instant and punched at Lin Fei's face. This punch was fast and ruthless, and it was quite ruthless. With such explosive power, Invincible God was indeed quite strong. However, in the eyes of Lin Fei, it was still not enough. He raised his leg and sent a vicious kick over. This kick caused the mountains to collapse and the earth to crack. Invincible God indeed had the right to be arrogant. He was already a master at such a young age, and a body refinement master at that. He was extremely strong. Seeing how nonchalant Yi Futian was, a cruel smile appeared on his face once again. Who would have thought that this kick would land on Invincible God? Bang! Lin Fei's kick landed squarely on Invincible God's face. All of a sudden, Invincible God was reduced to a bloody mess. Tears and blood gushed out of his eyes as he slammed into the wall behind him. I actually didn't dodge. This is impossible. Invincible God struggled down from the wall and touched the blood on his face. His entire face was contorted. How dare you make me bleed? I'll kill you. Invincible God was furious. He swung his arm and pounced at Yi Futian again. The aura on his body was even more exuberant. Invincible punch. The power of Invincible God's punch was even more violent. In an instant, it reached the level of a late-stage master. There was even a hint of artistic conception in the punch. It was terrifying. Lin Fei saw this punch and laughed. Invincible God, you do have the right to be proud. You managed to comprehend the fist intent at such a young age, and it's such a domineering, invincible fist intent. You're indeed powerful, but it's not enough. Invincible God was shocked. You actually know about the fist intent. Since you do, you'd better accept your fate. Invincible fist intent, invincible in the world. Lin Fei took a step forward and met it with a simple punch. There was a loud bang. In the face of true power, any fist intent is nothing, even the invincible fist intent. Invincible God instantly felt his punch being crushed by an even more powerful force. His power could not even disintegrate the opponent's power in the face of this. Instead, it was crumbling. The force crushed Invincible God's body, and his entire body floated out like a lone boat, crashing onto the ground. Invincible God's fist intent, which had always been invincible, was now in tatters. Then a figure appeared beside him and stepped on his arrogant face. Kacha! Half of Invincible God's head was stuck in the ground. Invincible God, you're the first person who dared to cause trouble in my villa. If I can take down Longting Villa, I won't take anyone seriously. You, Invincible God of all things, you had to injure my subordinate. Don't you know that? No matter how much Invincible God struggled, he could not move under the force of this kick. He felt that his pride and dignity were all crushed. Lin Fei, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Invincible God had always been arrogant, but now that he was being stepped on, he roared, and the aura on his body surged again and again. But as Lin Fei's foot came down, all his struggles were in vain. Invincible God was being stepped on. You're too used to being a young master that you don't know what suffering is. I'll have to teach you a lesson. Lin Fei stepped down again. With a rumble, the ground shook. Does it feel good? With a rumbling sound, another kick came. Does it feel good? There was a loud boom. Does it feel good? How dare you come to my Longting villa of East Sea and act so presumptuously? Who do you think you are? Lin Fei stepped down again and again. Invincible God, who was struggling, lost all his strength in the blink of an eye, leaving only blood flowing out. If not for the weak aura, he would have suspected that this guy was dead. This is just a warning. If you dare to come to Longting Villa again, I don't mind finishing you off. Lin Fei glanced at the two body refining masters. Take your master and get out of here right now. The two body refining masters looked heavily injured, but they were still stronger than normal people. They staggered over and dug Invincible God out of the ground. Looking at Invincible God, his entire face was ruined, and he was only breathing weakly. They couldn't imagine how this young man had such terrifying power that even young Master Invincible God was no match for him. They didn't even dare to say anything as they helped young Master Invincible God up and left Longting Villa quickly. When they got out of Longting Villa, they were dumbfounded. That was because the Rolls-Royce Phantom had turned into a pile of scrap metal. They knew that this was done by Lin Fei. Since there was no car, what else could they do? They could only continue along the way. Lin Fei helped Yu Zishan up. Wait here for a while. He turned around and left quickly. When he came back, there was a bottle of spiritual water in his hand. After feeding it to Yu Zishan, along with some healing pills, his injuries were completely healed. Thank you, boss. You stood up for me. This invincible God is so despicable. Chapter 3975. Yu Zishan felt very relieved. So what if they were from the Shun family, one of the 3 major families in the south? So what if they were favored by the heavens? So what if they were Invincible God? In the end, he was still tortured by his own boss. Boss, the Shen family is one of the 3 major families in the south, and Invincible God is their favored one. I'm afraid that the Shun family won't be able to take it lying down and might come to our Longting Villa again. Yu Zishan said worriedly, I'm not afraid of one-on-one, but if a few more masters come, I won't be able to hold them off. Lin Fei said nonchalantly, they won't have a chance to come to the Longting Villa to make trouble. I didn't plan to set up the formation so early, but since they have their eyes on the Longting Villa, I can only set up the formation first. When they want to come to the Longting Villa, it will depend on whether they have the strength to do so. Yu Zishan was overjoyed. Boss, you want to set up the formation, but our villa... Yu Zishan had seen how powerful the formation was. Once it was set up, the Longting Villa would be as stable as Mount Tai. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. In fact, Lin Fei had not planned to set up the formation of the Longting Villa, but with the arrival of Invincible God, he had no choice but to set it up in advance. Although Lin Fei was not afraid of people coming, the Longting Villa was constantly sending masters, and he could not sit in the Longting Villa all day. Setting up the formation was something that had to be done. However, before setting up the formation, Lin Fei felt that there was one more thing that had to be done, and that was to have a good chat with the 2 from the Medicine King Valley. It was not easy to kill someone with a borrowed knife. If he had met someone else, he might have succeeded. Yi Xian let Yu Zishan stay in the Longting Villa. Yi Xian drove a Ferrari out of the Longting Mountain Villa, as expected of a martial artist. He's not slow at all. I wonder if Invincible God will learn his lesson this time. Don't make me attack you again. Lin Fei did not see Invincible God along the way. He believed that they must have taken a shortcut. The 2 body refining masters carried Invincible God because they were afraid that Lin Fei would catch up with them. Therefore, they did not take the main road and chose to take the mountain road. They suffered a lot. Of course, this was for another time. Lin Fei drove the Ferrari all the way to a villa area. This villa district wasn't very famous in the Eastern Sea, and it wasn't even as famous as the soaring Dragon Manor villa he had bought in the past, but it had an elegant environment. The people of the Valley of the Medicine Masters really know how to enjoy themselves. Lin Fei drove the Ferrari directly into the villa area. The guard at the door acted as if he didn't see anything. Lin Fei drove the car and finally stopped in front of a villa. He got out of the car and locked onto Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan. The two of them were in the villa. Inside the villa, Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan were also waiting for news because they had arranged for people to keep an eye on the situation. Knowing that Shen Wudi had gone to Longting Manor, they did not expect that Shen Wudi would make a move so quickly. Therefore, they were waiting for news. If Lin Fei suffered a great loss at Shen Wudi's hands, then they could make a move. Although they could not take Longting Manor, they had to teach Lin Fei a lesson, especially since he was such a mysterious person. I think there should be news in a while, Wang Yuan said. Gao Yishan was drinking tea and smiled. Who can stop Shen Wudi when he makes a move? Not to mention the others. Just those two subordinates of his are body-refining grandmasters. Their strength is extraordinary. Only the southern Shen family has this kind of foundation to cultivate body-refining grandmasters, and two of them at once. I also heard that there are more than a dozen body-refining grandmasters in the Shen family. If it wasn't for the one in Yanjing, they might have dominated the entire south long ago. Wang Yuan took a deep breath. More than a dozen body-refining grandmasters. This is too scary. It's simply unimaginable. Wang Yuan was a grandmaster powerhouse himself, but he had no chance of winning against a body-refining grandmaster. Therefore, when he heard that there were more than a dozen body-refining grandmasters in the south, he felt terrible. Gao Yishan was used to it. To be able to become one of the three major families in the south, it's not as simple as you think. Although our Medicine King Valley is quite strong, in front of the three major families, we are too far behind. Now, you should understand why I want to hand over Longting Villa. If we can be on good terms with the Southern Shen family, there will only be benefits for our Medicine King Valley. Wang Yuan had finally experienced the Elder's power. At this moment, an unexpected scene happened. The door of the villa burst open with a crash, and countless fragments flew into the room. Even if Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan reacted quickly, they were still hit by the fragments of the sawdust and were directly knocked to the wall. The most frightening thing was that the sawdust pierced into their bodies, directly nailing them to the wall one by one, without the slightest resistance. Who is it? Who has such terrifying power that we can't fight back in time? Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan were so scared that their hands and feet turned cold. It was simply unprecedented that they did not notice such a powerhouse coming over. At the broken door, a figure walked over. You too, how do you like this tea? The taste is not bad, right? As this person walked in, Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan's faces instantly turned gloomy and pale. How did you know we were here? Wang Yuan had experienced Lin Fei's strength. Only now did he realize that he seemed to have underestimated Lin Fei's strength. After all, this villa was not registered under their names, so very few people knew their specific residence. However, Lin Fei could actually find them, and even they did not notice him at all. This was too terrifying. Lin Fei swaggered and sat down on the sofa. He casually grabbed a piece of sawdust and flicked it lightly. With a whoosh, it pierced into Gao Yishan's body. Blood immediately flowed out. Even though Gao Yishan's qi protected his body, it couldn't stop the sawdust from piercing into his body. In the entire Donghai, it's really not difficult for me to find someone. Moreover, the two of you are quite calculative. Are you waiting for news? Unfortunately, you will be disappointed. Invincible God has already gone back. Gao Yishan shouted, That's impossible. Invincible God is the pride of the heavens, a master powerhouse. How can you be his match? Gao Yishan definitely did not believe that Lin Fei could be Invincible God's match. It's normal for an old-fashioned person like you to be seeing things. However, I really have to tell you that Invincible God is really not my match. He left in a sorry state. Of course, I'm here to tell you that in the Donghai territory, don't plot against me. Don't think that I don't know that it was you who instigated Invincible God to come to Longting Villa. Therefore, I'm here to give you a gift. Gift? Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan had a bad feeling about this. Lin Fei waved his hand, and countless wood shavings flew out like the wind, piercing into the two men's bodies. "Ah, my Dantian! You destroyed my Dantian!" Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan instantly screamed in pain. Their entire bodies aged in an instant because, at this moment, their Dantian was shattered and all their strength was drained. They became useless people and were no longer martial artists. This method was very vicious. It was like killing one's parents and cutting off one's wealth. Lin faced it up. "Go back and tell the Valley of the Medicine Masters that they can either behave themselves and keep a low profile or feel free to seek revenge. Right? Remember to bring more people. Otherwise, if they aren't strong enough, they'll be nothing in my eyes." Chapter 3976. Lin Fei left after crippling Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan. From beginning to end, he did not say another word. As for the revenge of the Medicine King Valley, it would at most be a little troublesome. Anyway, he had to make a trip to the Medicine King Valley. But there was no time now. He had to wait until the Longting Villa matter was completely resolved. Lin Fei would go to the Medicine King Valley to see what they were capable of. But for Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan, both of them almost broke down. One had to know that becoming a martial artist was high and mighty. Although martial artists were not as powerful as they were in the past, they were still very popular and were welcomed by all the big families. They came from the Medicine King Valley, and with the influence of the Medicine King Valley, they were even more respected outside. But now that their Dantian was destroyed just like that, they would become useless people from now on. All the glory and wealth would be gone. What worried them the most was that once the sect abandoned them, those who they had offended would definitely not mind hitting them when they were down and teaching them a lesson. If it was just one humiliation, it would not be a big deal. But what if they were killed? This was something they did not dare to accept. Lin Fei, how dare he destroy our Dantians? Wang Yuan wailed out. Gao Yishan could not come back to his senses. He did not expect that Lin Fei would be so cruel. He did not even need to make a move to destroy their Dantian, making them useless people from now on. Call the Yan Huang battle team immediately. Tell them that Lin Fei stole a pill recipe from the Medicine King Valley. After they saw through it, he actually destroyed their Dantian. We must give the Yan Huang battle team an explanation for this. Gao Yishan's entire face was twisted, full of hatred and resentment. Yes, we must inform the Yan Huang battle team about this. This is the only way to vent our anger. Wang Yuan also knew that this was the only chance for them to take revenge on Lin Fei. Otherwise, it would be difficult for them to vent their anger. Inside the Yan Huang battle team's base, Chief Taijan was leisurely drinking tea. At the same time, he was looking through the latest news from the East Sea. But suddenly Lin Ro came in. Chief Iron Battle sensed something was wrong. What happened? Lin Ro said, "Bureau Chief, you really have good foresight. Something happened at the Medicine King Valley. Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan were robbed in the villa. Not only that, but their Dantians were also destroyed. Now, the Medicine King Valley is pressuring us to catch the culprit." Iron Scout was shocked. Who would be so bold as to attack someone from Medicine King Valley? Aren't Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan grandmasters? How could he be robbed like this? Crippling the Dantian? Don't you think it's a joke? Grandmaster powerhouses are not so easy to deal with, but his Dantian was destroyed. This is more difficult than killing a grandmaster. Taijan felt like he was listening to a joke. Lin Ro smiled bitterly and said, "Director, I didn't believe it at first, but the person who did it was Lin Fei from Longting Villa. What do you think we should do about this?" Tai Tan slammed the table and stood up. "What? It's Lin Fei from Longting Villa. Why is that kid fighting with Medicine King Valley again?" Taijan had been paying close attention to the recent events, especially Lin Fei. This kid had openly bought the jade stone that the Lord of Jade had his eyes on at the auction, and even had an ambiguous relationship with Bing Qingya. Taijan couldn't help but admire this Lin Fei. He was indeed a guy who loved to stir up trouble. No matter which, one of the three big families in the South, they were all a headache for Director Taijan. Until now, there was no effective way to control them. Even some of the Yan Huang battle teams in the South had completely chosen to give up. Lin Ro nodded. Yes, it's indeed Lin Fei. The two from Medicine King Valley said that Lin Fei coveted their Medicine King Valley's pill formula and directly stole it. We, the Yan Huang battle team, must give them an explanation for this matter. Iron Scout suddenly had a headache. If it was an ordinary warrior, it would be fine. With a command, they would definitely be able to capture the person. But this person, Lin Fei, even until now, Taijan still hadn't figured out his background. This was the most difficult thing to handle. Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan are really useless. They can't beat him, but they have to let the Yan Huang battle team take action. Taijan also frowned. I can't be the one to capture him. This kid is very strange. It was the first time Lin Ro saw her boss having a headache. We really can't not deal with this matter. After all, any grandmaster is our China's treasure. But now that we've lost two grandmasters, once the Medicine King Valley complains to the headquarters, we won't have a good time. Director Taijan's eyes also darkened. I have to go to Longting Villa, but before that, I still have to meet Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan. After all, if this matter gets out of hand, it won't be good for anyone. This Lin Fei is really too much. He just has to snatch everything. Isn't the pill formula the lifeblood of the Medicine King Valley? Subconsciously, Taijan didn't believe that Lin Fei would do that. But now that Lin Fei had crippled the other party, this was the key. Iron Scout immediately brought his men to the villa. When he saw the scene in the villa, he was secretly shocked, because the scene was a mess, and he could even see that it was purely a violent act. The two grandmasters, Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan, were very weak, and they had aged a lot. Director Tai, you came at the right time. If you don't give us an explanation for this matter, the Medicine King Valley will go to the headquarters. What right does that Lin Fei have to snatch our Medicine King Valley's special pill formula? As soon as Wang Yuan saw the director Taijan, he immediately complained. That Lin Fei is too unreasonable. Originally, we cooperated with him out of goodwill, but as soon as he saw our pill formula, he coveted it. When we weren't paying attention, not only did he injure us, but he also crippled our Dantian. We hope that Director Tai can arrest Lin Fei and hand him over to the Medicine King Valley to deal with. Gao Yishan said, the Medicine King Valley is willing to donate 100 healing pills and 100 qi-gathering pills to the Yan Huang battle team. On the way here, Director Taijan still couldn't believe that this was true. But when he saw these two grandmasters, Taijan couldn't help but feel a trace of sorrow and desolation. Grandmaster experts weren't necessarily very powerful. Just how powerful was that brat Lin Fei? This was too terrifying. He even faintly broke out in a layer of cold sweat. After all, back then, Taijan still wanted to take down Lin Fei. Fortunately, he didn't make a move. Otherwise, he might be like these two guys now, without any strength and becoming an ordinary person. And such an ordinary person could not enjoy the life of a real ordinary person, because those enemies wouldn't mind stabbing them. Both of you rest assured. Since this happened in the East Seas territory, the Yan Huang battle team will definitely give you an explanation. Lin Ro, come over and register for them. Chapter 3977. St. Mary Hospital. This was a very famous private hospital in Donghai. On the highest floor of the hospital, in the intensive care ward, a few doctors walked out of the room, wiping their sweat as they walked. The pressure of facing the people inside was too much. Even their director came. They stood at the side obediently, not daring to say a word. They were all trying to guess who the young man inside was. Young master, it's all our fault. Two strong men were already kneeling on the ground. Shinwudi's face was simply bandaged, but even so, his handsome face was nowhere to be seen. What replaced it was a face that looked like a pig's head. His face was even bumpy with footprints. This wasn't something that could be healed in a short period of time. Shinwudi's expression was unreadable. No one could tell what he was thinking, but there was coldness in his eyes. Everyone knew that this young master Shinwudi was completely enraged. I didn't expect that I would suffer such a loss in Donghai. Shinwudi's voice was cold. Get someone to investigate this Lin Fei and spread the news that whoever cuts off Lin Fei's head will get a breakthrough pill. The two strong men were shocked. That was a breakthrough pill, a magical pill that could help one break through bottlenecks. It was priceless. Now that it was being offered as a reward, one could tell how furious their young master was. Lin Fei, I, invincible god, have never suffered such a great loss in my entire life. Now that you've made me suffer such a great loss, you should be prepared to live through all kinds of assassinations. I don't believe that you'll be able to live forever. No matter how strong your body refinement is, there are so many experts in China. For the sake of a limit-breaking pill, no matter how much you struggle, it'll be useless. Invincible God walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. Shinwudi took out his phone and dialed a number. The call went through. Get a helicopter to pick me up at St. Mary Hospital. I'm going back. Shinwudi suffered such a huge loss here. He didn't dare to stay here anymore. He wanted to go back and study this Lin Fei. If Lin Fei could fend off this wave of assassinations, then he would continue to give this guy big presents. He, invincible god, was not someone who could be trampled on so easily. He had to vent his anger, and he had to vent it ruthlessly. Lin Fei returned to the Longting Manor because he was preparing to set up the formation of the Longting Manor. If the array formation was not set up properly, this kind of trouble would follow. This time he had beaten up 2 grandmasters from the Valley of the Medicine Masters and even destroyed his elixir field. It was conceivable that there would be grandmasters constantly spying on Longting Villa, so the significance of the formation's existence was highlighted. No matter who wanted to enter the Longting Manor, they would have to break the formation first. Lin Fei came to a quiet room. He took out the 18 pieces of jade. The quality of these jade stones was quite good, and they even had a trace of spiritual energy. They were good materials for setting up arrays. The entire night, Lin Fei was making these jades because he had to carve runes on them. Although it was not a difficult task for Lin Fei, he still needed to be careful, afraid that he would damage a piece, which would be troublesome. Matching ancient jade like this was not easy to find, so Lin Fei had to be careful when making them. The 18 pieces of jade were divided into a total of 108 pieces, all of the same size. It took the entire night until 7 or 8 in the morning before Lin Fei finished carving the last piece. It's a pity that this material is too poor. It can only contain 1/3 of the power of the array pattern, but it's more than enough to deal with a grandmaster. The quality of these jades was very good in the eyes of outsiders, but in Lin Fei's eyes, they were very ordinary. When carving the array pattern, he did not dare to use too much force, so the engraved array pattern was only average. Boss, Chief Tai of the Yan Huang battle team is here. He seems to have something to talk to you about. As soon as Lin Fei came out, he heard Yu Zishan standing outside the door. Tai Zhan is here. Lin Fei smiled. He is quite well informed. I guess this matter has something to do with the Valley of the Medicine Masters. I want to see what he has to say. In the living room, Tai Zhan had come alone without any subordinates because Longting Villa was a force that he couldn't afford to offend for the time being. Especially that brat, who was so slippery that he couldn't figure out his background until now. He was like a mysterious existence. Even the headquarters would need some time to investigate. Therefore, during this period of time, Tai Zhan didn't want to be Lin Fei's enemy. This would affect the stability of Donghai. After all, the outbreak of a Grandmaster expert was very terrifying. Tai Zhan didn't want to be Lin Fei's enemy. Generally, Tai Zhan would not offend a Grandmaster. Even if it was a secret arrest, they would only act after they were fully prepared. Chief Tai, What brings you to my Longting Villa today? You should know that I'm very busy. Lin Fei walked in and sat down opposite Taijan. Taijan said, unhappily, this is all because of you. Now Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan of the Medicine Masters have come to our Yan Huang battle team to report that you stole their guts and destroyed their Dantian. Therefore, you should give our Yan Huang battle team an explanation for this matter. After all, our Yan Huang battle team's duty is to maintain the peace of the city and deal with various conflicts between sections. Taijan actually did not want to come, but this was not a small matter. 2 grandmasters had their Dantian destroyed, so Taijan had no choice but to come. Lin Fei really did not know how the Yan Huang battle team usually dealt with such matters. Why? You even want to care about these things? Then do I think that you are here to arrest me? Lin Fei felt that he had underestimated the 2 elders of the Medicine Masters Valley. They were shameless enough to slander him for stealing the guts. Not to mention anything else. He did not know how many guts there were in his mind. Any one of them could shock countless people, so why would they steal it? Under normal circumstances, if someone dared to say this to Taijan, he would definitely be angry. But now Taijan did not dare to, his face darkening as he said, Young Master Lin, you have misunderstood. I am only here to investigate. After all, our Yanwang battle team's duty is to first investigate and then deal with it. Moreover, I think that there must have been some conflict between you and the Medicine Masters Valley. This kind of thing can still be resolved, but what you should not have done was destroy their Dantian. This is a martial artist's lifeline. If it was an ordinary fight, Taijan would not be very worried. He could just mediate. But now that the 2 people's Dantian had been destroyed, this made it very difficult for Taijan to explain. He could not possibly capture Lin Fei and bring him back. Taijan might have had the guts before, but now he really did not have the confidence. He really could not see through this guy. Isn't it just destroying their Dantian? Then you can just let the Medicine King Valley cause trouble for me. Why do you need to be the middleman? Lin Fei smiled faintly. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of the Medicine King Valley. It was the first time Taijan had seen such an arrogant person. He destroyed someone's Dantian, and it was the Dantian of a grandmaster at that, and he still dared to speak like this. But unfortunately, Taijan could only smile bitterly. This matter is also a headache for our Yanhuang battle team. Once the headquarters find out, I, as the director, will not have a good time. So I hope that young Master Lin can cooperate with our work. Lin Fei smiled. I see that the overall strength of your Yanhuang battle team is not very strong. Then let's make a deal. I have some elixirs with me that can help you break through to the level of covert power. If you help me solve this matter and don't bother me, I can give you 10 pills. I guarantee that there will be no side effects. What do you think? Mobile version, fastest updated website. Chapter 3978. This was the first time Taijan had heard of such a miraculous pill. When he heard that it could allow a martial artist to break through from light Jing to dark Jing, he immediately perked up. After all, the overall strength of the East Sea Yan Huang battle team could only be described as average. Compared to the other Yan Huang battle teams, there was a large gap. After Medicine King Valley's Wang Yuan and Elder Gao Yishan stated their conditions, Taijan did not pay much attention to them. After all, that thing was not so easy to obtain. If it was an ordinary person, it would be fine, but if it was Lin Fei, the price was not small. However, this time, Taijan was moved. After all, breaking through from light Jing to dark Jing was not a small threshold. However, such a small threshold could keep many people away. Young Master Lin, are you serious? You are not lying to me. Taijan stood up from his seat, unable to hide the excitement on his face. If it could increase the strength of the Yan Huang battle team, it would definitely be a good thing. Lin Fei said, Do you think I would lie to you? This is such a meaningless matter. As long as you solve this for me, what is a mere pill? I can even let you test it on the spot. Taijan was indeed moved. There were pills for breaking through, but they were very rare and priceless, which martial artist didn't cultivate step by step. Lin Fei continued, "Such a good thing is not easy to find. Moreover, if I have such a pill, do you think I would care about the pill recipes of the Medicine King Valley? In my eyes, those pill recipes of the Medicine King Valley are no different from waste paper." Taijan's mind quickly turned. Comparing the benefits of the two sides, the scales gradually tilted towards Lin Fei's side. This was because, in comparison, Taijan still cared about the pill in Lin Fei's hands. If there really was such a pill, it was scary just thinking about it. Since it could allow light Jing to break through to dark Jing, then wouldn't it mean that there were other pills that could allow dark Jing to break through to Zhongshe? Taijan did not dare to think further. This Lin Fei was too mysterious. It was likely that the pill recipes of Medicine King's Valley were as worthless as Lin Fei had said. As long as there is no problem with the pill, I will help young Master Lin solve this matter. Tai Tua also didn't like Medicine King Valley very much. Now that he heard this, it was possible that Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan had found out about this matter themselves. Taijan was very clear about the nature of Medicine King Valley. Lin Fei casually threw out a bottle. "There's an upgrade pill inside." He had made this when he was bored, and the name was also given on the spot. To Lin Fei, this kind of medicinal pill was dispensable. It was purely used to pass time. But to martial artists, the effect was very miraculous. "I've given you the item. You know how to deal with the rest." Lin Fei was not afraid that Taijan would take the item and not do anything. Taijan had not expected that Lin Fei would give him a pill first. But the name of the pill seemed to be, "Since I've taken the item, I will definitely do it well." "All right, I'll remind you again. Our Yan Huang battle squad just received news that the Dark Heaven has put out a bounty, and the target is young Master Lin. The price of the bounty is a realm break pill. It is also used to increase one's realm, but it is used to increase one's dark Jing level. This kind of pill can be counted on one's fingers, so young Master Lin should be careful." Taijan had taken Lin Fei's pill, so he naturally did not mind doing him a favor. Taijan immediately wanted to go back and test the effect of the upgrade pill. "Dark Heaven." Lin Fei smiled. "I know about this matter. We can go now." After Taijan left the Longting Mountain Villa, Yuzishan said, "Boss, giving such a good pill to Taijan, won't it attract the attention of others? After all, pills that can increase one's realm can be counted on one's fingers. The realm break pill, just now, is also a very famous pill." Lin Fei said indifferently, "This elixir is really useless to me, and I just found out that our Longting Mountain Villa still lacks some foundation, so I decided to hold an auction in 2 months. At that time, we will auction spirit water and leveling up elixirs. Do you think anyone will come to support us?" Yu Zishan sucked in a breath of cold air. "Boss, if this is true, then the martial artists of the East Sea will probably go crazy. Even the experts of the surrounding big cities will come after hearing the news. No one will be able to stop it. But will these pills cause too much of a commotion? After all, our Longting Mountain Villa is so big." Lin Fei laughed. "That's why I decided to set up a formation and recruit a group of experts. Don't you think that it's not enough to guard Longting Mountain Villa with just you? And this time, there's someone who took the initiative to come to me. Why wouldn't I accept a free expert?" Yu Zishan couldn't help but sweat for those master-level experts. He believed in his boss's words very much. Someone is going to be unlucky. After Taijan left the Longting Mountain Villa, he immediately returned to the Yan Huang battle team. "Lin Ro, come here." After returning, Taijan went back to his office and took out the pill. From the color, it was indeed a first-rate pill. In addition, he also took some pills from the Medicine King Valley for comparison. There was a certain difference between the two. Lin Ro walked in. "What orders do you have for me, Director?" "Go and bring in a light Jing guy. Ordinary potential is enough." Lin Ro was confused, but she still turned and left. After a while, she brought in a light Jing martial artist. This light Jing martial artist was a middle-aged man. He was a reserve in the Yen Huang battle team. "Are you afraid of death?" The middle-aged man shook his head. "Director, I'm not afraid of death. If there's anything, just leave it to me. It's my honor to be able to contribute to the battle team." Tai Zhan said with satisfaction, "Not bad. What I want is your spirit. This is a special pill. If you take it now, your life and death will be up to fate. Are you afraid?" The middle-aged man said firmly, "I'm not afraid. It's just a pill. What's there to be afraid of?" He took it and ate it. Lin Ro was confused. After all, this pill looked very strange. Why did the director take it out and let him eat it? After the middle-aged man ate the pill, Taizhan stared at him. If there was a slight problem, he would stop him. After the middle-aged man ate the pill, his whole person instantly showed a satisfied expression. "Director, what pill is this? I feel so comfortable." "Comfortable, that's right." Taizhan smiled. "Then slowly experience it and see if there are any changes." Taizhan heaved a sigh of relief. Not long later, at most 20 minutes, the middle-aged man's aura suddenly exploded, and his aura suddenly became stronger. "Director, I think I broke through. I broke through from light Jing to dark Jing." "How is this possible?" the middle-aged man exclaimed. He was so happy that he cried. After all, with his talent, he could forget about breaking through to dark Jing in this lifetime. But now he actually broke through. There was a trace of dark Jing flowing in his body. Although it was very weak, it was real dark Jing. Tai Zhan reached out and grabbed the middle-aged man's wrist. The moment he checked, his brows furrowed as his face was filled with shock. "To think that it's real. How is this possible? This type of pill is rarely circulated and has always been controlled by the major powers. Even our Yen Huang battle team has a pitiful amount of it." At this moment, Taizhan finally understood why Lin Fei would hand over the pills to him and why he was so calm. Someone underestimated Lin Fei. He's more terrifying and mysterious than we thought. Chapter 3979. In the afternoon, Lin Fei began to set up the formation. In order not to attract attention, he only began to survey the entire Longting Villa and marked the general location of the formation. He could set it up at night. If not for Taizhan's words, Lin Fei would not be in a hurry to set up the formation. Lin Fei had seen the strength of the masters in Dark Heaven. The reward was the level-breaking elixir. From the name, one could tell that it was an elixir used to break through to the next level. He also knew that this elixir should be very rare. Otherwise, Taizhan would not be so moved by the elixir that he took out. It was conceivable that this elixir would definitely attract many masters. Lin Fei really wanted to thank the person who secretly put up the reward for sending him such a group of fighters. This was free labor. Each of them was powerful. Where else could he find such a good thing? Lin Fei did not have to guess to know that this must be one of the tricks of Invincible God. He was the most suspicious. As for the two elders of Medicine King Valley, they were useless now that they had become useless. It was impossible for them to take out the level-breaking elixir. Therefore, the mastermind behind the scenes was Invincible God. It was so clear. At night, Lin Fei began to set up the formation. This time, Lin Fei set up the formation called the Evil Sky Formation. Although it only had the power of the innate stage, it was enough for the East Sea. Pieces of jade talisman were sent into the depths of the ground by Lin Fei's power. This depth was not as simple as a few meters, but dozens of meters. Every position was very particular and required a strong mental strength to calculate it. Only Lin Fei could do it easily. 108 pieces of jade represented 108 places. The Heaven's Net Earth Fiend formation was the simplest formation that Lin Fei could think of. As for other formations, they required a lot of resources to set up. In the current situation, he naturally did not have the qualifications, so he could only reluctantly use the 108 pieces of jade to set up the evil sky formation. It was not easy to set up the inescapable evil earth formation. Lin Fei wandered around the Longting Manor like a ghost. Fortunately, there were not many people in the Longting Manor, and with Yu Zishan standing guard outside, he was not afraid of being seen. He worked until 4 o'clock in the morning. Only then did Lin Fei sink the last jade talisman into the ground. "Rise!" Lin Fei snorted and instantly connected the 108 pieces of jade. A huge sky-net earth fiend array was formed in an instant. There was a loud bang. It was as if there was an earthquake, and countless people were startled awake. Their expressions greatly changed, and they thought that there was a massive earthquake. No one would suspect that the Longting Manor was setting up a formation. When this formation was completed, an invisible light directly enveloped the entire sky above the Longting Villa and then disappeared. Lin Fei finally breathed a sigh of relief. My skills are not old yet. The evil sky formation with 108 pieces of jade has finally been set up. Now I want to see how many people want to attack the Longting Manor. It would be best if there are 8 or 10 Supreme Masters. By then, the Longting Manor will not be short of Supreme Masters. In Lin Fei's opinion, it was better to catch a few Supreme Masters than to train them. It would save time and he would not have to worry about any trouble. There was nothing better than this. "Boss, did you set up the formation just now?" Yu Zishan naturally heard it clearly. He was shocked and came over. "The formation is set up successfully. This formation is called the Evil Sky Formation. It has a total of 3 layers. The first layer is the Great Circle Array, and anyone who is not strong enough will be trapped inside. The second layer is the Earth Kill Array, which can unleash the power of a Supreme Master. The last layer is the Heaven Kill Array, which can unleash the power of an inborn expert. Under normal circumstances, just the outer layer of the Great Circle Array is enough to block most people outside, and martial artists can only stay on the second layer. Lin Fei took out a jade talisman and threw it to Yu Zishan. This is the control order for the first and second layers of the Evil Sky Formation. In the future, if anyone breaks in, just control the formation to suppress them. As for ordinary people, just drive them out. Lin Fei took Yu Zishan through the formation. Yu Zishan's heart was pounding when he walked in the formation. The terrifying power made his hair stand on end, and he did not even dare to walk around. "Boss, with this formation, I believe that no one in the entire East Sea will be able to break into the Longting Manor." Yu Zishan had seen some array formations before, but they were nothing compared to the array formations set up by his boss. No matter how strong a Supreme Master was, they would not be able to withstand a single blow from this formation. During the day, you can close the formation and open it again at night. I believe that they will not have the guts to make a move during the day. They will only have the chance to do so at night. If there are no accidents, it will only take 2 or 3 days. At that time, we will teach them a lesson, and I believe that no one will dare to have any designs on the Longting Manor again. Yu Zishan was really looking forward to the arrival of those enemies. "Boss has prepared a feast for you." Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan had been waiting for Tai Zhan's reply. After all, he was still hoping that the Yan Huang battle team could capture Lin Fei. If they could bring Lin Fei back to the Medicine King Valley, they might be able to make a big contribution. However, in the end, they received a piece of bad news. "Director Tai, what do you mean by this? Do you think that we will accuse Lin Fei? He was the one who destroyed our elixir fields." Wang Yuan roared as he stood up. Tai Zhan looked at Wang Yuan indifferently. "I have already investigated. Lin Fei did not admit to this matter. Moreover, the fight between you two is your family's matter. The Yan Huang battle team is not qualified to deal with such matters." If Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan were still Supreme Masters, Tai Zhan might have taken them seriously. However, now that they had become ordinary people, there was no need to give them any face. Moreover, such people would be useless even if they returned to the Medicine King Valley. The Medicine King Valley would not take them seriously. On the other hand, Lin Fei was different. After taking those upgrade elixirs, the Yan Huang battle team had 10 more Dark Force warriors, and their overall strength had increased greatly. Taizhan had no choice but to curry favor with Lin Fei. That's right, Taizhan indeed wanted to curry favor with Lin Fei. After all, a master like him could casually take out 10 upgrade elixirs and benefit the Yan Huang battle team immensely. The Yan Huang battle team and the Medicine King Valley had worked together many times, but the benefits were few and far between. The Medicine King Valley even looked down on the East Sea Yan Huang battle team. In comparison, Lin Fei was much more adorable. If the two of you insist on finding trouble with Lin Fei, then I can only bring you back to the Yan Huang battle team. I suspect that the two of you once worked together to murder a supreme master. I need to investigate this thoroughly. Wang Yuan and Gao Yishan's expressions changed drastically and their faces turned pale. 2K Reading Network. Chapter 3980. In the evening in Hangzhou, in an inconspicuous house, it should be said that it was a yard, an ordinary uncle was drinking, and it was the most ordinary ergotu. He drank 1 cup after another. At this time, the door of the yard was opened, and a thin figure came in. He sat down in front of the uncle and put an envelope in front of him. What you want is here, but I don't know if you dare to do it. The thin figure picked up the ergotu, poured a cup, and drank it. The middle-aged man didn't look at the envelope. Are you sure you're not fooling me this time? The middle-aged man's eyes were cold. I don't have the guts to do such a thing, but this time you really have to seize the opportunity because someone has offered a reward for the realm-breaking pill. You also know the effect of the realm-breaking pill. If you succeed, then you will be a transcendent expert. Who should I kill this time? The middle-aged man picked up the ergotu and drank it. Lin Fei of Longting Villa. As long as you take his head, you can get a realm-breaking pill. Now many people have heard the news, and everyone wants to be the first to cut off that person's head. I'll do it, the middle-aged man said. The thin man smiled and said, once you, a hidden weapon master, use it, even a transcendent can't block the power of your sad arrow. And similar scenes kept appearing in various places in Huaxia. A realm-breaking pill set off a storm in Jianghu, Donghai Airport. A middle-aged man with a very ordinary appearance walked out. He got into a taxi. He reported an address, which was located in an inconspicuous residential area near the Longting Villa. After the middle-aged man arrived at the residential area, he went to one of the floors and entered a room. The middle-aged man opened his bag and checked it. After confirming that there was no problem, he took out the things inside. Not long after, a sniper rifle was assembled. It's still up to me to kill. He closed the window and put the sniper rifle on the rack. The opposite side of the sniper rifle was Longting Villa. This was the closest place to Longting Villa. This middle-aged man was called Sniper God. No one knew his specific name, and no one knew where he was from. But no one dared to look down on this sniper, because, as his name suggested, as long as he took action, he would never miss a shot. He was famous in the circle. This time he was here to kill Lin Fei. A realm-breaking pill. I really don't know which big shot Lin Fei offended to be willing to use a realm-breaking pill. Although I am not a martial artist, this realm-breaking pill has already reached a price of 1 billion on the black market. After completing this transaction, I can finally retire. In the sniper's field of vision, the sharpshooter soon saw the figure of a young man in the villa. He remembered this person more clearly than anyone else. He was the target this time, Lin Fei. This Lin Fei seemed to be taking a stroll as he walked unhurriedly. The sharpshooter secretly applauded. My luck is not bad. I actually found the target so quickly. It seems that this Lin Fei's head is mine. From here to the villa, it was less than 5 kilometers. The sharpshooter's sniper rifle was specially made, and the cost alone was worth millions. It was not an exaggeration to call it a real golden gun. With this sniper rifle, the sharpshooter had killed countless martial artists. No one had ever survived his muzzle, even if it was obvious power or hidden power. Realm-breaking pill, here I come. The time was right. A shot was fired. This shot did not make any sound because these bullets were also specially made and could effectively reduce the sound. The bullet was also enhanced with the ability of exploding. As long as it hit any flesh and blood, it would produce a huge power which could directly blow a person into pieces. The sharpshooter had a special fondness for this bullet. He always fired one shot to kill, because after one shot the opponent would only be left with a pool of blood. The moment the enemy exploded, the sharpshooter liked to describe it as fireworks. Fireworks released with life. After the fireworks, a person would wither. After firing a shot with confidence, the sharpshooter didn't want to take another look. He had absolute confidence in his shot. However, the scene he expected didn't happen. This shocked the sharpshooter. Damn it, it's impossible. My marksmanship has never failed before. How could this kid be fine? At this moment, he saw the young man wave his hand gently, as if he was driving away mosquitoes. Then the sharpshooter saw an incredible scene. The armor-piercing bullet that flew out actually flew back. Oh no! In the blink of an eye, the armor-piercing bullet flew indirectly and hit the sharpshooter with a bang. A brilliant firework exploded directly, covering the whole room in bright red. Lin Fei didn't look over from beginning to end. The effect of the reward has begun. Even the sharpshooter has come. It's a pity for this sharpshooter. Doesn't he know that any hostility within the vicinity of Longting Villa is like the bright moon in the night? It's hard not to know. Even the sharpshooter has come. I wonder how many Grandmaster Realm experts will come this time. I'm really looking forward to it. On the Yan Huang team side, since returning, Taizhan hadn't had it easy either. Because of the news that came one after another, he had a headache. Invincible God is really good at stirring up trouble. Doesn't he know that this will make Dong Hai restless? Putting down the photo in his hand, Taizhan wished he could grab Invincible God. Because after the news of the reward spread, experts from the Dong Hai airport kept coming to Dong Hai. These experts were not weak. So far, there were more than 20 covert power martial artists, and there were countless overt power spies. Although no Grandmaster had appeared, Taizhan knew that they would definitely come. A realm-breaking elixir was definitely enough to make a Grandmaster realm expert come. Director, there's news from the airport again. It's said that a Grandmaster from southern Yunnan has come. His target should be Longting Mountain. After the Grandmaster came down, he didn't go anywhere else, but directly went to Longting Villa. Do you think we should do something? Lin Ro came in to report. He's here too. Taizhan frowned, but soon felt relieved. I remember that his son is stuck at the covert power level because his talent isn't good enough. I'm afraid he's determined to get the realm-breaking elixir this time. Taizhan shook his head. No need. I think that Lin Fei should have a way to deal with it. Otherwise, it would be too disappointing. After Taizhan finished speaking, another news came. Director, I just received news that the #1 tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, Kaishan, has also come. Lin Ro looked at her phone and suddenly said, Chapter 3981. Why is Kaishan here? Taizhan's expression changed when he heard the name. This was the #1 tame headmaster in Southeast Asia. He was no joke. Is he also here for the limit-breaking pill? If this #1 tame headmaster was somewhere else, Taizhan might not be worried. However, things were different in the East Sea. This was the area that Taizhan was in charge of. Get someone to keep an eye on Kaishan immediately. I want to know his every move. Compared to the other Grandmasters, Taizhan was more concerned about Kaishan. After all, he was a more difficult existence to deal with. After Lin Ro left, Taizhan rubbed his temples. What an eventful time. In a suite of a 5-star hotel in the East Sea, 3 people were sitting together, chatting and drinking tea. The tea was Longjing tea, which cost hundreds of thousands per caddy. The faint fragrance of tea wafted in the air. "I heard that Lee San from Dianan has arrived," a middle-aged man with a mustache said with a smile. "He's already out of the airport. If there are no accidents, he should be on his way to the Longting Villa," another white-haired middle-aged man said with a smile. "Originally, we wanted to see who would be the first to make a move, but we didn't expect it to be Lee San. However, thinking about it, his son's talent is not good. If he doesn't break through to the Grandmaster realm, then the Lee family's influence in Dianan will be greatly affected. It's different for a family to have two Grandmasters." The three of them were sitting and drinking tea. However, if an outsider saw it, they would definitely be shocked, because all three of them were Grandmasters, and their influence was not small. Even the Yen Huang battle team had to be very polite to them. It was as if they were discussing a very simple matter. It's good that Lee San goes to check it out. At least he can understand Lin Fei's strength. If he can't even beat Lee San, then he's too useless. The mustached, middle-aged man said with a smile. "All we have to do is slowly drink tea and wait for the results to come out. It's not too late for us to act. Of course, it's best if Lee San takes Lin Fei's head. At that time, we can act and save a lot of trouble. I believe that Lee San is a tactful person and will definitely hand over the thing in his hands." The three of them laughed heartily as if everything was going according to their plan. After all, if the three of them joined forces, it was not something that a single Grandmaster could resist. On the way to Longting Villa, Lee San sat in an inconspicuous black Mercedes-Benz. This Mercedes-Benz was only worth 500,000 or 600,000 yuan. It was indeed very low-key. "Is the information accurate?" A young man sitting in the passenger seat said in a low voice that Lin Fei has been in Longting Villa all this time and has never come down. "We even saw him wandering around in the villa this morning. It seems that he doesn't know that he has a bounty on his head. Our brothers are also secretly watching him and won't leave Longting Villa." Lee San was a dark-skinned, middle-aged man in his early 40s. However, such a person had great influence in southern Yunnan. He was in charge of many companies. Everyone would greet him as Boss Lee when they saw him. In the martial arts circle, he was a Grandmaster powerhouse. From covert power to transcendent power, Lee San had been a Grandmaster for 15 years. It could be said that his potential was very good. Unfortunately, his son had been stuck at the covert power level for 3 years. Lee San was also anxious. As soon as this bounty task was released, Lee San knew that this was an opportunity. If he missed this opportunity, he couldn't guarantee when the realm-breaking pill would appear again. Therefore, he took the initiative to come here and snatched it before everyone else. Now it seems that this move is quite correct. "Are there no other Grandmasters coming?" Lee San asked. "Not yet, but there are traces of some covert power martial artists appearing nearby. But because it is broad daylight, they dare not visit." Lee San didn't care about covert power Grandmasters as long as they weren't Grandmasters. After all, a Grandmaster was very difficult to deal with. The black Mercedes-Benz arrived outside Longting Villa. Lee San got out of the car, looking at the Longting Villa in front of him. He was a member of this circle, so he naturally knew that Longting Villa was a blessed place. "I didn't expect Yu Zishan to be defeated by a young man in the end after being in the limelight for so long. He even gave up Longting Villa. I want to meet this young man." Lee San's eyes were like torches. "Go and call the door. Tell them that Li Shan from southern Yunnan is here to visit." In a forest in Longting Villa, when Lin Fei was drinking tea, he felt that there was a Grandmaster powerhouse coming. This surprised him a little. He actually came in broad daylight. How confident was he in his strength? "Xiao Yu, go and invite the Grandmaster outside in. Since he is the first to come, I have to meet him. Moreover, I guess many people outside are paying attention to this matter." Lin Fei's voice reached Yu Zishan's ears. Yu Zishan immediately went over. At the door, Yu Zishan recognized Lee San. Yu Zishan knew the strength of this grandmaster. He was ranked in the top 100 on the grandmaster list. Master Yao, you are really sharp. You knew that I was here. Li San smiled and looked at Yu Zishan. Yu Zishan was expressionless as he walked forward. If you want to meet my boss, follow me. Li San didn't care much about Yu Zishan's attitude. However, he didn't understand why Yu Zishan couldn't defeat that young man. This was surprising and curious. No matter how strong the young man was, Li San would definitely defeat him. It wouldn't be easy for him to make a move personally. Not long after, Li San finally saw the young man. He sat under a big tree and drank his tea leisurely. His indifferent look made it hard to imagine that he could still be so indifferent under such circumstances. You are the first grandmaster to come looking for me. Show me your strength, and let me see if you are qualified to be my subordinate. Lin Fei raised his head and poured himself a cup of tea as he said with a smile. Li San's eyes narrowed slightly. So you also know that you have a bounty on your head. But aren't you being a little too arrogant? I'm not Yu Zishan who will become your subordinate. Since you know that you have a bounty on your head, then you should know why I'm here. Lin Fei took a sip of tea. Of course I know. Isn't it for my head? I will be sitting here. If you are confident, come and take it. You must know your limits. If you can't do it, then you can't. Therefore, I will give you a chance. Li San had originally wanted to use his influence to make his opponent admit defeat, but he didn't expect that this guy would be even more shocking than he had imagined. Especially the tone of his voice. Wasn't it a little too arrogant? He really didn't take Li San seriously. Double dragon move. Li San snorted. Suddenly, 2 guns appeared in his hands. Bang, bang, bang. Several guns were fired at the same time. 2K Reading Network. Chapter 3982. A Grandmaster expert was actually an expert in using guns. Moreover, he was using 2 guns. It was definitely a shocking thing. No one could see where Li San's guns were placed. From picking up the guns to firing, it was as smooth as flowing water. It was like a work of art. Li San fired a total of 18 shots. The time needed was only a few breaths. This was because the guns had been modified. Only a grandmaster expert like Li San could perfectly unleash the power of the guns. If it were someone else, they would only be able to fire 2 or 3 shots at most. After Li San fired the guns, he stepped back quickly and instantly pulled away. At the same time, he fired the guns again and fired another 18 shots. 18 shots plus 18 shots was equal to 36 shots. It was done in one go. This made Yu Zishan, who was standing not far away, feel his scalp go numb and cold sweat flow. Yu Zishan did not have any confidence that he could withstand the 36 shots. He did not even have the confidence to counter them. It was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he had fallen into a life-and-death situation. Li San was very confident in his marksmanship. This was because the 2 guns in his hands, coupled with the physical fitness of a grandmaster expert, could unleash a great advantage with the guns. Therefore, Li San was also known as the gun god. As long as he used his guns, even a grandmaster of the same level would not dare to offend him. This was also one of the reasons why Li San was so famous in southern Yunnan. There was indeed nothing for a grandmaster to be proud of in front of Li San. As long as Li San used his guns, the area within 300 meters of him would become a forbidden zone. Lin Fei held the teacup and took a sip unhurriedly. He didn't even look at it. Facing the flying bullets, he only flicked his hand gently. His fingers bent as if he was playing a piece of music and flicked the bullets. Ding, ding, dang, dang, ding, dang, dang. An ordinary hand could instantly deflect all 36 bullets at an unimaginable angle. Li San, who was still proud, broke out in a cold sweat. What shocked Li San the most was that after the 36 bullets were deflected, they actually turned into a bullet rain and instantly enveloped Li San. Li San's feet tapped the ground once more, and his entire body rapidly retreated. His 2 pistols continuously fired, and with each shot, a bullet was deflected. The 36 incoming bullets were constantly deflected. Li San's marksmanship was still very good. The last bullet broke through the limit and arrived in front of Li San in one fell swoop. It was only a hair's breadth away from his eyebrows. Only then did it stop. After a while, Li San's entire body leaned against a big tree. His back was covered in cold sweat. This bullet seemed to be supported by a terrifying power. It actually didn't fall and just hung in the air, locked onto the space between Li San's eyebrows. It seemed like as long as Li San willed it, this bullet could penetrate his head. I lost. Li San did not take his opponent seriously, but now he knew that he was wrong. This young Lin Fei was a true expert. At the same time, he was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Very few people could so easily block his dual moon-chasing spears. Li San had never thought that someone in the East Sea would actually be able to do it, and such a person would definitely be stronger than him. You're a dignified guru, yet you're able to use dual pistols to chase the moon. That's quite impressive. However, your strength is too weak. You still can't unleash the power of your spear technique. If you were to encounter an ordinary guru, it wouldn't be a problem. But in front of me, this bullet can't even get within a meter of me. Lin Fei put down his teacup, reached out his hand, and a gun flew over. Let me show you what the true divine spear technique is. Lin Fei swung his arm and fired a shot. When the shot was fired, Li San's face instantly turned pale. This was because he did not notice any trace of the bullet's trajectory. It was as if it had disappeared into thin air. However, Li San knew that the shot had definitely been fired. But what about the bullets? Where did the bullet go? But in the next moment, Li San's face contorted as if he had seen something terrifying. Unbeknownst to him, a bullet had appeared behind Li San's head and stopped there steadily. The smell of death enveloped his entire body. Li San didn't dare to move. He didn't even dare to breathe loudly because he knew that if he moved, he might die. Guns aren't for people like you to play with. Only someone like me can be considered a beginner in marksmanship. Can a bullet whose trajectory is grasped by others still be considered a bullet? That's purely a joke. Lin Fei smiled faintly. The two bullets fell to the ground with a thud. But to Li San it was a huge shock. Marksmanship could be manipulated like this. Li San had no doubt that if this kind of marksmanship was used to kill a guru, no one would be able to block it. At the very least, Li San wouldn't be able to. I accept my defeat wholeheartedly. I'm sorry for what happened this time, young Master Lin. I'm willing to compensate you. Please let me leave this place, young Master Lin. Li San was completely regretting his actions. Although he knew that Lin Fei was also a guru, it was only now that Li San realized that Lin Fei was definitely not as simple as an ordinary guru. This person was too terrifying. That untraceable shot had already reached the level of a god among spears, and Li San was far behind him. Dealing with such a person was definitely a suicidal thing. The only thing Li San wanted now was for the other party to let him go, no matter how big the price he had to pay. If you do something wrong, you have to accept punishment. You understand this principle. Lin Fei laughed. A dual spear expert like you is still quite useful, so you'd better stay here and be an employee of the Longting Mountain Villa. Lin Fei's palm turned into a life and death imprint, directly entering Li San's mind and instantly controlling Li San. Li San's entire body trembled, and the look in his eyes changed. As my employee, there are still benefits. Your son's talent is average, and it's extremely difficult for him to become a guru. However, I can help you. I can give you leveling pills, and as long as you take 5 of them in a row, you will be able to break through the talent limit. Your son will almost be able to become a guru, and it will be impossible for him to take another step. A bottle of pills landed in front of Li San. Li San said gratefully, "Thank you, young Master Lin." However, compared to losing his life, all of this was nothing. Moreover, the pills were already in his hands, and the Li family could have another guru, so it didn't seem like there was any loss. Moreover, he had seen Lin Fei's spear technique, which was what he had been pursuing his entire life. There were only benefits to following such an expert. All right, you can go back to Yunnan first and arrange things. As for how to act outside, you should know yourself. I don't want the people outside to be scared. Yu Zishan walked over. Li San, the boss's words are in order. You just have to do your job, or else it won't be that easy to take the boss's things. With a guru as an employee, Yu Zishan's position as a housekeeper had risen, and he walked as he knocked on the door. Master Yu, I know what to do. Bang, bang, bang. Li San hit his chest 3 times, and his face became dispirited, and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He quickly walked out of the Longting Mountain Villa. Yu Zishan laughed. Chapter 3983. In the vicinity of Longting Villa, many people were secretly watching this scene at this time. Li San was a famous grandmaster in southern Yunnan, and he was also a spear god of his generation. Everyone wanted to know what the final result would be. When they heard the gunshot, everyone knew that Grandmaster Li San had made a move. The name of the dual gun master was not just for show. Some people even secretly calculated and realized that Li San had fired 36 shots in a row or even more. To be able to make Li San fire more than 36 shots, he had really exerted all his skills in the gun. Because everyone knew that the more shots Li San fired, the more importance he attached to the other party. If he fired more than 36 shots, it could be imagined how much Li San recognized the other party. However, under such circumstances, they actually saw Li San's disheveled figure appear outside the Longting Villa. His face was pale and bloodshot, and he was staggering as he walked. Without saying a word, he got into the Mercedes-Benz. However, everyone heard what Li San said when he got in the car. Lin Fei, although you defeated me, my reputation as the dual gun master is not undeserved. Let's wait and see. These words were not loud or heavy, but they were full of hatred and unwillingness. Until the Mercedes-Benz disappeared into the distance, everyone reported the news at once. This was a big news. Although Li San lost to Lin Fei, everyone was not very surprised. However, the fact that Li San, the king of dual guns, could come out of Longting Villa was the most important thing. The amount of information was too much, and it was definitely the focus of everyone's attention. Lin Fei was injured. The news spread like wildfire. In the 5-star presidential suite, 3 middle-aged men were drinking tea unhurriedly. The door opened, and a young man came to report. There's news from Longting Villa. Li San was defeated by Lin Fei and was injured. However, Li San's words before he left proved that Lin Fei had suffered a loss in his hands. But I don't know how serious the injury is. The 3 middle-aged men were not surprised by this news. It was expected. The king of dual guns has some skills. He could actually injure Lin Fei. But I don't know how serious the injury is. The middle-aged man with a mustache laughed. That's easy. I'll make a phone call and know. I believe Li San will still give him face. Another middle-aged man laughed. Everyone knew Li San's strength. He was also ranked in the top 100 on the Supreme Power list. In terms of real strength, even those ranked 50 or 60 had to be afraid of Li San's attack. The only thing they needed to confirm at the moment was how serious Lin Fei's injury was. After all, an injured tiger was always easier to bully. The middle-aged man found Li San's number and called him directly. Sitting in the Mercedes-Benz, Li San's face was pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. After seeing the number on the phone, he said with a Jiu's Li San's Li San, Chen Tianya, are you happy that I came out injured? Li San said coldly after the phone was connected. Chen Tianya, I came out injured. Are you happy? Li San said coldly after the call was connected. Chen Tianya was one of the 3 middle-aged men. He was a supreme power expert, and his ranking was about the same as Li San's. How serious is his injury? Chen Tianya asked with a smile. What if I don't tell you? Li San said, That's simple. Now that you're injured, do you think you can still leave Donghai if we three supreme power experts personally stop you? Chen Tianya, you're still as shameless as ever. You win. Lin Fei's strength is indeed great. He can block 36 of my shots, but he also took 6 of my bullets. He can only use half of his strength at most. You can imagine the rest. Li San hung up the phone. Chen Tianya was not annoyed by Li San's behavior. He put down the phone and took a sip of tea. Li San still knows how to look at the bigger picture. Lin Fei is injured and has been shot 6 times. At most, he can only display half of his strength. It looks like we can personally make a trip there before anyone else does, said Chen Tianya. Li San is Li San. His marksmanship is really good. He can hit that kid 6 times out of 36 shots. But that kid is also powerful. He should have a powerful body technique. But after getting shot 6 times, his strength is really greatly affected. It will be easy for us to take down Lin Fei together. The mustached, middle-aged man laughed. However, for safety's sake, let's wait and see. After all, that guy Lin Fei is not easy to deal with. Chen Tianya nodded. I've already arranged for someone to keep an eye on him. He can't play any tricks. He definitely can't hide from my eyes. Not long after, a piece of news came. Li San took the fastest flight out of Donghai. The 3 of them were not very surprised by this news. The news of Li San entering Longting Villa and coming out injured could not be hidden from everyone. Those hidden opponents did not mind leaving him outside when he was alone. So at this time, Li San choosing to return to Dianan was the most appropriate choice. Li San is right. Lin Fei should be injured. 6 shots may not be possible, but maybe 3 or 4 shots are possible. Let's make our move tonight. I wish us success tonight. The 3 of them raised their teacups. Tai Zhan of the Yan Huang team was standing in a room at this time. The room was filled with the smell of blood. I didn't expect the famous sharpshooter to die in our Donghai. Lin Fei did a good deed. Tai Zhan faced the window, and in the distance was the Longting Villa. Director, what is the background of this Lin Fei? Even the sharpshooter failed in front of him, and I still can't imagine how the sharpshooter was killed. You have to know that the sharpshooter's gun uses exclusive bullets, which have powerful destructive power. Looking at the situation at the scene, it seems that the sharpshooter killed himself. Tai Zhan could more or less see that the sharpshooter's death must have something to do with Lin Fei. It was just that he couldn't figure out how Lin Fei killed the sharpshooter. The people who were secretly watching could prove that Lin Fei had never left the villa from beginning to end. But the sharpshooter died in the room. All of this seemed too mysterious. No matter how the sharpshooter died, it's a good thing for our Yan Huang team. After all, this guy killed many of our martial arts experts. Now that he's dead, everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. Speaking of which, we still have to thank Lin Fei, Tai Zhan said with a smile. At this time, a person came in from outside to report. I had just received news that Li San from Dianan left Donghai injured. According to the news we received, that Lin Fei seems to have been shot several times, and his injuries are quite serious. Tai Zhan was keenly aware of one thing. Lin Fei is up to something. Chapter 3984. The news of Lin Fei's injury was not a big secret. In particular, what Li San said at the end undoubtedly made everyone realize that the most mysterious Lin Fei of Longting Villa was injured, and his injury was definitely not light. Everyone's mind started to work. After all, this was a chance. Whoever cut off Lin Fei's head first would get a limit-breaking elixir. The effect of a limit-breaking elixir was something no martial artist could ignore. In the southern Guangdong province, on a private island along the sea, Invincible God was recuperating here. He suffered a big loss at Longting Villa, and the bruises on his face did not fade. It was impossible for him to recover in a short time. so he came to an island along the sea. This was a leisure island that the Shen family bought through other means. They spent a lot of money to build it. Invincible God was recuperating on this leisure island, and his current appearance was still shameful. Li San from Dianan is quite capable, as expected of the spear god, to be able to injure Lin Fei. I think the masters in Donghai must be itching to make a move. Invincible God held a glass of red wine in his hand. It was a 1982 La fight, and he slowly sipped it. I'll be hearing good news soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Invincible God looked at the sea, as if victory was in his grasp. It was a dark and windy night, and one could not even see their fingers in front of them. It was the best time to make a move. Outside Longting Villa, many people were watching. Everyone knew that tonight was the best opportunity. They did not see Lin Fei come out from the beginning, so Lin Fei must still be in Longting Villa. As for why he did not come out, it must be because he had absolute confidence in Longting Villa. The first group to sneak in was a group of inward power martial artists. A soldier who did not want to be a general was not a good soldier. So an inward power martial artist who did not want to be a master was not a good martial artist. After knowing that Lin Fei was injured, they finally decided to make a move after holding it in until nightfall. One after another, they climbed over the wall and entered Longting Villa. There were 8 inward strength martial artists in the first wave. After that, there were more than 30 inward strength martial artists in the second and third wave. The martial artists with covert force nowadays don't even know what they're made of. They still have the nerve to think that they can beat us to it. Just musician alone is enough to make them suffer a great loss. In an inconspicuous place in the Longting Villa, 3 figures walked over at a leisurely pace. It's not a bad idea to use them to exhaust Yu Zishan's strength. Now these inward strength warriors all think that they are powerful. This time they can be taught a good lesson. It would be best if Yu Zishan and them both suffer a great loss. That would be the best. The 3 of them quickly arrived near the outer wall. One of the middle-aged men walked out. I've long heard that the soaring dragon manners formation is very powerful. This time, I'd like to see what's so special about it. This middle-aged man was called Wang Zzmo. Although his strength was only at the Grandmaster realm, he had mastered a powerful formation breaking technique because he was also a formation master. Although his level was not high, it was more than enough to break a formation. Very few people knew about this secret. Therefore, the 3 of them joined forces and appeared here. Wang Zimo slammed his palm on the outer wall and blasted a hole. The 3 of them entered one after another. Grandmaster Wang Zimo originally wanted to find the foothold of the formation, but after scanning around, he was surprised to find that there was no formation here. Yu Zishan, are you planning to use an empty fort strategy? He didn't even activate the formation. Is he so confident that he can stop all of us? Wang Zimo's face revealed a strange expression, and then he laughed. The soaring dragon manner didn't activate the formation? Chen Tianya revealed a look of joy. Usually he would have to put in a lot of effort to activate the formation. However, if the formation was not activated, the soaring dragon manner would be like an open door, allowing them to enter freely. It should not be activated, Wang Zimo said with a smile. Let's hurry up and go in. If the Grandmasters outside know about this, they will probably fight to enter. We're really lucky this time. Although they didn't know why the formation was not activated, the 3 Grandmasters weren't too worried. With their strength, they could easily deal with Yu Zishan. As for the injured Lin Fei, he wasn't a match for them at all. Moreover, they came prepared this time. We still underestimated Yu Zishan. I didn't expect him to change the formation. This should be a soul confusion formation. Very soon, a white fog appeared in front of them. Wang Zimo laughed. You think you can stop us with just this soul confusion formation? You really think too highly of yourself. The 3 Grandmasters also recognized that it was a soul confusion formation, but they weren't too worried about them. They opened up a distance and carefully locked onto the front. Not long after, they passed through the Soul Confusion Formation and saw many inward strength martial artists. These inward strength martial artists were in a forest. Now they were lying in a mess. Obviously, they had suffered a lot. Not far away, they saw an old acquaintance. This acquaintance was none other than Yu Zishan. Yu Zishan, are you planning to hold the pass alone against 10,000 people? Chen Tianya walked over with a smile. Chen Tianya, I know that you are a grandmaster expert from another province. I didn't expect you to come with Wang Zimo and Luo Qiuqiu. Yu Zishan looked at the three grandmasters. Chen Tianya laughed. Since you know that the three of us are here, you should know that you can't stop the three of us by yourself. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you don't want to suffer, take the initiative to bring us to Lin Fei. As long as we get what we want, we naturally won't cause any trouble for you. Chen Tianya was also a person who knew how to talk. He directly attacked the other party's heart. A cultivation master's ability was rather terrifying. It would be best if he could suppress the other party. According to their thinking, Yu Zishan should be afraid of them and choose not to attack. As long as Yu Zishan did not attack, they could take Lin Fei's head. They could also attack the blessed Grotto Heaven. After all, they were quite envious of the benefits of the blessed Grotto Heaven. Yu Zishan shook his head and was not moved. Times are different now. Just the three of you grandmasters won't do. Even if another 7 or 8 grandmasters come, I won't leave because you guys are not qualified to make me leave. Wang Zimo laughed. What an arrogant tone. Do you think that this array formation can stop us? Even if you changed another array formation, as an array master, I can still see through it. There's no way you can fool us. Why are you talking to this old thing? Let's just attack together. Maybe this old guy is just buying time so that Lin Fei can escape from another place. The three of them looked at each other and decided to attack immediately. In the next second, a black ball-like object appeared in their hands, and they threw it at Yu Zishan. Chapter 3985. The three grandmasters had indeed come prepared. Yu Zishan wasn't someone easy to deal with. Hence, they had purchased special weapons at a high price. It was a concealed weapon that covered an area. It was extremely vicious, and anyone who was hit by it would definitely die. When such a weapon was used by a grandmaster, it could instantly unleash terrifying power. The area it covered was also very large, like an inescapable net. The moment the three grandmasters attacked, the 3 black balls exploded and turned into a sky full of black shadows that covered Yu Zishan. These black balls were called soul destruction balls. Once they were used, they could shoot out tens of thousands of needles that could even destroy a person's soul. Each of the fine needles was laced with poison, coupled with the strength of a grandmaster. The needles could even pierce through reinforced steel plates. The soul destruction balls were very expensive. Even Chen Tianya and the other 2 had to pay a huge price to get their hands on them. It was all worth it to kill Yu Zishan. As for the warriors who were knocked to the ground, they were unlucky. In an instant, they were pierced by the needles, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into pools of blood. It turned out that the needles were laced with corrosive poison that targeted flesh and blood. It was a truly vicious concealed weapon that couldn't be blocked. Yu Zishan, you shouldn't have made an enemy out of us. Even though you are a cultivator, how could your body of flesh and blood withstand the power of the soul destruction orb? Chen Tianya sneered, a smug look in his eyes. You should be happy that you can die under this soul destruction ball. After all, there aren't many people who can make the 3 of us use the soul destruction balls. The power of the 3 soul-destroying balls was extremely great. Except for a few covert strength martial artists who could dodge it, the rest became pools of blood. However, Yu Zishan still didn't move. With the area covered, it was impossible for him to escape. Yu Zishan didn't move. He just stood there quietly. Suddenly, he reached out and a huge shield appeared in front of him. The shield was brown, just like the color of the earth. The moment this huge shield appeared, it blocked all the attacks. When the needles hit the shield, they were blocked. They couldn't even penetrate the shield. The shield was densely covered in needles. It was a ghastly sight, and it was suffused with a cold light. The three Grandmasters are indeed ruthless. You even prepared a soul-destroying sphere for me. I have underestimated you. However, I have already said that even if more Grandmasters come, the result will be the same. Use Zishan's array formation. The Heavenly Net Earth Terminus Array was instantly activated. A black streak of light shot out from the void. Allow me. Chen Tianya was disdainful. He punched out, and the shadow of his fist landed on the flowing light. However, in the next second, the flowing light's power did not diminish. It fiercely struck Chen Tianya's body, cutting open a bloody wound, and his entire body smashed onto the ground. So strong! The other two Grandmasters were shocked. Damn it, what kind of formation is this? It's actually so powerful. Wang Zimo was shocked. He had seen a lot of array formations, but a stream of light could actually have such power. This was completely beyond his imagination. Although the power of the Longting Villa's formation was not bad, it was definitely not at this level. As Wang Zimo's voice fell, a second stream of light shot out. If you guys want to be presumptuous here, then you'll have to first block my attack. Swish, swish, swish. Streams of light shot out, containing the 5 elements of metal: wood, water, fire, and earth. In an instant, the 3 Grandmasters were in a desperate situation. It was also Yu Zishan's first time activating an array formation. Looking at the 3 Grandmasters who were suppressed by the power of the array formation, he also felt how terrifying the Heavenly Net Earth Terminus Array was. No wonder the boss is so confident. Chen Tianya and the other 2 Grandmasters are in such a sorry state. If the array were to go all out, it would indeed be easy to kill them. The 3 Grandmasters were originally full of confidence, but at this moment they felt a great sense of danger. They had activated their martial arts to the limit, but they still could not block the streams of light. The streams of light were fierce and domineering a moment ago, but they were as soft as water a moment later, making it hard for them to resist. In an instant, they were in a sorry state, and their bodies were continuously injured. Let's go. We can't fight them head-on. Chen Tianya reacted quickly, turning around and fleeing outside. It was the same for Wang Zimo and Luo Qiuqiu. They really could not withstand the attacks of the streams of light, so much so that their hands were trembling. However, when they were about to rush out of the forest, suddenly an invisible barrier rose up. They crashed into it, but they actually could not break the barrier. Oh no, we're trapped. The 3 of them instantly attacked the same spot together. With their powerful strength, they might be able to break an opening, but the result was still disappointing. This invisible barrier was unbelievably strong, and no matter how they chased after it, they could not break through. Since you're here, then stay in the Longting Manor. After all, our boss is still very reasonable. Yu Zishan walked over step by step, and behind him, the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth turned into 5 giants. The giants locked onto the 3 Grandmasters one by one. The mysterious stream of light was already too much for them to handle. When the 5 giants were formed, they were immediately frightened. Any one of them had a terrifying aura that could crush them. There was no need for them to make a move, and they would definitely lose. Yu Zishan, you win. Let us go, and we'll never interfere in this matter again. We're willing to compensate you. Just name the price, and we'll compensate you. The 3 of them did not even have the thought of fighting. This Longting Manor had really become too terrifying. It was obviously an inconspicuous array, but in the blink of an eye, it actually created these 5 terrifying existences. They could not accept this scene for a moment. Yu Zishan shook his head and said, I'm sorry, the boss said that he's only interested in you 5 Grandmasters, so you guys should stay and be employees of the Longting Manor. Anyway, It's better to be alive than dead. Dong, dong, dong. The giants attacked in an instant, and the 5 forces joined together, directly crushing the 3 grandmasters. After the 3 grandmasters entered the Longting Manor, for more grandmasters came one after another. Their strength was not weak, and they all looked very confident. However, after they entered, no one saw them come out again. Until dawn, the entire Longting Manor was quiet. The people who were watching outside felt their scalps go numb. One by one, they gasped and immediately sent out the news. Longting Manor is suspected to have a top master, for grandmasters have already been trapped inside, and none of the inward power warriors have come out. As soon as the news came out, the Donghai Martial Arts Circle was in an uproar. Chapter 3986. On a private island off the coast of Guangdong, Invincible God had not slept. He was waiting for news. As long as Lin Fei was not dead, he would not be able to rest easy. In order to kill Lin Fei, Invincible God had painfully paid the price of a level-breaking elixir. He believed that all the Grandmaster martial artists would react upon hearing the news. When the time came, 8 or 9 Grandmaster martial artists would gang up on him. No matter how strong Lin Fei was, he would still be defeated. All Invincible God had to do was wait for news. He even prepared a bottle of red wine worth $200,000 for this. What? None of the 4 grandmasters came out after entering Longting Villa? You must be joking with me. Invincible God kicked him away, and he rolled a few times before stopping. Continue to investigate. This is impossible. If Lin Fei is really that strong, then wouldn't he be a monster? I, Invincible God, have the support of my family and endless resources. How could Lin Fei be stronger than me? Why? Invincible God roared. The injury on his face was affected, and he felt a wave of pain. Losing to Lin Fei one-on-one, Invincible God felt that he was at a disadvantage because of the lack of information. However, if 8 or 9 grandmasters were not a match for Lin Fei, wouldn't that be a slap to his face? At the same time, it would prove that he was not the favored one, but the real favored one. Invincible God would not allow that to happen. The news about Longting Villa spread like wildfire in the martial arts circle. No matter who it was, they would break out in a cold sweat when they heard the news. You're not kidding, right? Since when did Longting Villa become so powerful? I heard that 4 grandmasters won this time, or even more. You said that all the grandmasters stayed inside. Doesn't that mean that Longting Villa is no different from a dragon's pool and a tiger's den? This joke is a bit too much. Previously, when Yu Zishan stayed in Longting Villa, his own strength was the key, along with the formation. However, it was not that no grandmaster had ever entered Longting Villa, so it was not as incredible as it was described. But now, for grandmasters, including 20 to 30 covert power warriors, had entered the Longting Villa, and none of them had come out alive. This situation was unusual and unbelievable. The news that a grandmaster had gone in was clear to everyone. Now that they had not shown themselves, it was shocking. As for the 4 grandmasters escaping from other places, that was even more impossible, because this time the people who were secretly following them had arranged people outside the entire Longting Manor. As long as they came out, they would be able to see everything clearly. It was a pity that no grandmaster came out. What a good Lin Fei. His methods are amazing. He actually defeated 4 master stage masters in one fell swoop. No, it should be 7 master stage masters. The Yan Huang battle team's Tai Zhan held the news in his hands. He was more certain than anyone else of the veracity of this news. Rumor had it that there were 4 grandmasters, but he knew that there were a total of 7 grandmasters who had entered the Longting Villa this time. There were 4 grandmasters at the main entrance, and 3 more grandmasters had entered in secret. Tai Zhan knew that Lin Fei wanted to stir up trouble, but he didn't expect it to be this big. He had defeated 7 grandmasters in one go, and now it was unknown whether they were alive or dead. The only one who came out alive should be Grandmaster Li San. Taijan was now sure that Grandmaster Li San had definitely tricked everyone once. He probably negotiated with Lin Fei before he could come out of the Longting Villa. What a brilliant move! Director, what should we do now? Lin Ro asked. After all, these are 7 Grandmasters, and each of them has a great influence. If something really happens to them in the Longting Villa, our East Sea will really not have peace. Taijan couldn't help but have a headache. This matter was indeed what he had been worried about. It was cool, but the follow-up was a big problem. If those people really died, it would be over. The death of 1 or 2 Grandmasters was already a headache, but if all of them died, that would be a real headache. If things got out of hand, East Sea's economy would be in trouble. Don't doubt the influence of those people. At that time, even the Yan Huang battle team headquarters would not be able to say anything. Wait a little longer. Taijan said, I believe that Lin Fei is a person who knows what to do. If he really doesn't come out, I will go there myself. After everyone was shocked by the horror of the Longting Villa, those martial artists who originally had ideas about Lin Fei did not dare to have too many ideas for a while. Even the 4 Grandmasters had fallen into the trap. If it were them, wouldn't it be the same? They could not afford to offend him. Until noon, when everyone continued to stare at the Longting Villa, for Grandmasters came out. No, it should be 7 Grandmasters came out of the Longting Villa. As soon as these Grandmasters came out, it was unknown how many people were frightened. Everyone guessed that there would be 5 or 6 Grandmasters, but they did not expect there to be 7. Every Grandmaster was a great master on the Grandmaster list and was famous in a region, but at this time they all fell in the Longting Villa. The expressions of the 7 Grandmasters did not change much. They were as expressionless as usual. After they came out, there was immediately a car to pick them up. The forces that were following them also retreated one after another. For a moment, it was much quieter outside the Longting Villa. No one knew whether the 7 Grandmasters had killed Lin Fei or not, but the reputation of the Longting Villa had been completely spread this time. That night, before everyone could confirm whether Lin Fei was still there or not, Master Yu Zishan of the Longting Villa released a piece of news. An auction would be held in 2 months. At that time, special treasures would be auctioned, which would be of great help to the improvement of martial artists' strength. One was the spiritual water. The second was a magical elixir. As for what the elixir was, no one knew. The magical effects of the spiritual water had tempted countless martial artists. If it was before, everyone would definitely want to go in and fight for it. But this time, 7 Grandmasters had fallen inside, which made them realize one thing. If they wanted the spiritual water, they might really have to go to the auction. However, everyone was also smart people. They were all waiting to see what the 7 Grandmasters' attitude would be. However, after the 7 Grandmasters returned, they remained completely silent as if nothing had happened. This was thought-provoking. At the same time, everyone also saw Lin Fei. He had appeared in the villa, as per usual. At this point, everyone understood that the 7 Grandmasters must have suffered a huge setback. They had probably paid a huge price to survive. But what was the price they had to pay? No one could figure it out. Of course, this incident also made countless people realize that although Lin Fei looked young, he was actually more terrifying than everyone thought. He was an existence that could not be offended. It seemed that it was too much to want to hunt him down. What other power could cause the 7 Grandmasters to fail? At least in this Longting Villa, no one dared to make a move. Boss, after this matter gets out, I guess those who want to make a move will completely lose their minds. Yu Zishan brewed a pot of tea for Lin Fei. Lin Fei picked up the teacup and said with a smile, After all, Grandmaster powerhouses have a lot of influence. 7 Grandmasters have suffered a setback in my Longting Villa. Compared to the auction in 2 months, everyone will think about it carefully. It might not be a good thing to keep this bounty up. Yu Zishan said. Lin Fei said with a smile, even the 7 Grandmasters were not a match for him. I think the Dark Heaven is also a sensible person. Maybe they will make a new choice. Mobile version of the fastest updated website. Chapter 3987. The news on the dark heavens, bounty, board, quickly changed. The bounty on Lin Fei's head had disappeared without a trace after one night. It was taken off the shelves. No one knew why the dark heaven did this. But when they thought about the 7 grandmasters trapped in Longting Villa, everyone realized that this Lin Fei must have a powerful background, which was why the dark heaven took off the bounty. They did not want to offend him too much. Who knew if Lin Fei's backer would make a move on the dark heaven? As soon as the news of the dark heaven taking off the shelves spread, everyone looked at Lin Fei of Longting Villa in a different light. It was not easy to get the dark heaven to take off the bounty. It proved that the dark heaven was wary of Lin Fei. Invincible God, who was on the island in Guangdong province, had smashed countless things that night. He had personally arranged for people and even offered the level-breaking elixir as a bounty on Lin Fei. He wanted Lin Fei dead for sure. Now that something like this had happened, how could Invincible God take it lying down? After smashing everything in the house, Invincible God was still in a state of rage. Young master, I think there's another way to take care of Lin Fei. According to the news we found, Southeast Asia's #1 tame headmaster, Kaishan, is already staying in Donghai Hotel. The enemy he's going to deal with this time might be Lin Fei. Invincible God hated Lin Fei more than anyone else now. His gaze turned venomous. Are you sure Kaishan wants to deal with Lin Fei? The possibility is very high because one of Caishan's disciples seemed to have been injured by Lin Fei and his strength was crippled. This is the news we just received from the people we sent. Kaishan should be here to deal with Lin Fei. However, he has yet to make a move. Invincible God naturally knew the abilities of Southeast Asia's #1 tame headmaster, Kaishan. He was different from ordinary warriors because he had a terrifying tame head technique, which was extremely terrifying. I heard that Kaishan has mastered the first tame head technique, which is mysterious and unpredictable. If I'm not mistaken, Kaishan wants to use Lin Fei as a stepping stone and soar to fame, so that Southeast Asia's influence can directly surpass that of Huaxia's martial arts practitioners. After all, 7 grandmasters are no match for Lin Fei. After Kaishan beheads Lin Fei, his influence will become even more terrifying. At that time, he will completely become the #1 expert in Southeast Asia. This Kaishan is really scheming. Invincible God was a smart man as well. He quickly understood what Kaishan was trying to do. If that's the case, I'll give Lin Fei another present. Even if he tries to hide, he won't be able to. Meanwhile, in a 5-star hotel in Donghai, the room Kaishan was in was filled with darkness. At the same time, it was suffused with a dim light. If anyone were to see, they would definitely be shocked because there were venomous snakes appearing on Kaishan's body. Each of these venomous snakes was very small, but there were so many of them that it was terrifying. Lin Fei, no wonder you dared to injure my disciple. You actually managed to make the 7 grandmasters not seek revenge. I didn't waste my time waiting. Now is the time to strike. When the time comes, who would dare to underestimate the strength of Kaishan, the first tame headmaster in Southeast Asia? Kaishan's aged face revealed a cruel smile. It was more interesting to kill such an opponent. Kaishan had already known about Longting Villa from the day he arrived. However, he did not make a move. He wanted to see if Lin Fei was worthy of him making a move. Now, it seemed that Lin Fei was indeed very worthy of him making a move. Kaishan's trip to Huaxia this time was just to kill Lin Fei. He came to Donghai to show his strength. Tomorrow, I'll wipe out the martial arts practitioners in Donghai and show them my strength. Kaishan smiled sinisterly and swallowed the venomous snake. Lin Fei was listening to Yu Zishan's report when he was having breakfast in the morning. He wasn't too surprised that the dark heavens had withdrawn the bounty on him. Any smart person would know that they would do so. After all, to him, there was nothing but mystery. No one knew who was behind him, especially since he had disappeared for 5 years. It was a mystery to everyone. Look, it's such a simple matter, and it's resolved just like that. Lin Fei laughed. Boss, it's just that some people are afraid of feeling uncomfortable. It was also Yu Zishan's first time seeing such a situation. He could not help but admire the boss's ability. Boss, how should we deal with this invincible god? Do you want us grandmasters to join forces and go to the Shun family to put some pressure on them? Lin Fei shook his head. It's useless even if you grandmasters join forces. After all, to be able to become one of the 3 big families in the south, their strength is not as simple as you think. I will take care of this matter myself. What you need to do is to guard Longting Villa for me. You don't need to worry about the matters outside. After breakfast, Lin Fei was about to go out for a walk when he received a call. This was a very unfamiliar number, but he still chose to pick it up. Young Master Lin, I'm Tai Zhan from the Yan Huang battle team. This is my private number. You can take it. Tai Zhan's deep voice came from the other side. What's the matter? We just received a piece of news that has spread in the Donghai martial arts circle. The #1 tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, Kai Shan, is here. He wants to fight you. Young Master Lin, you have to be mentally prepared. Lin Fei was a little surprised. Kai Shan, the #1 tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, was really here. He had almost forgotten about it. Who gave him the courage to fight me? Or is he planning to step on my head to climb up? Lin Fei snorted coldly. Young Master Lin is indeed young Master Lin. You really hit the nail on the head. This Kai Shan is indeed planning to use you to climb up. Not long ago, he began to wipe out those martial arts schools in the Donghai martial arts circle. Kai Shan wants to defeat these martial arts schools and reach the peak of his influence before fighting you, the strongest in Longting Villa and also the strongest in Donghai. Lin Fei did not know whether to laugh or cry when he heard this. Who gave me the title of the strongest in Donghai? I'm sorry, young Master Lin. We haven't received any news for the time being. However, the news has spread in the martial arts circle. They think that you are the strongest in Donghai, and Kai Shan is the strongest in Southeast Asia. Strong against strong. Lin Fei was very smart and immediately understood the meaning behind it. Someone was flattering him. The effect of flattery was, of course, to force him to fight. Oh, invincible God! Oh, invincible God! Are you still unwilling to give up? You are really narrow-minded. Then don't blame me for giving you a gift. Do you really think that an immortal like me is so easy to trick? Chapter 3988. On the beach of the island, Invincible God was in a good mood again. With just one sentence, the entire Donghai was in an uproar. The news spread like poison in the martial arts circle. Every martial artist knew that the top fighter of Donghai was Lin Fei of Longting Villa. The top fighter of Donghai. A few simple words, but they carried a different meaning. There was no first in literature and no second in martial arts. Lin Fei, so what if Dark Heaven doesn't kill you after putting a bounty on your head? Kai Shan, the top fighter of Southeast Asia, will definitely teach you a lesson. Also, with my news, no matter what you choose, you will have to fight Kai Shan. With Kai Shan's tame head technique, even a martial artist will not be able to handle him. I don't believe that you can even beat Kai Shan. Invincible God looked at the sea with his hands behind his back, a smug expression on his face. He thought that the gift was pretty good, and he believed that Lin Fei would definitely like it. All he had to do now was wait for the good news. After all, the longer a rumor lasted, the better it would be. By then, it would definitely elevate someone to the top, but it could also knock someone down from the top, causing them to fall to their deaths. Just as Invincible God was about to head back for a drink, with a plop, Invincible God fell head first onto the beach. Half of his head was in the water. Just then, the seawater came crashing over. Invincible God actually felt like he was suffocating. He could not even move his body. Invincible God could not move his body at all. He choked on a few mouthfuls of seawater. What's going on? Is there something wrong with my body? Invincible God came back to his senses and pushed himself up with both hands. His face, which was still bruised, swelled up again. I must have been too happy. Yes, that must be it. Invincible God found an excuse for himself, but he had only taken a few steps when he fell to the ground again with a plop. This time he was not so lucky. There was a rock on the ground, and his face smashed into it. The excruciating pain made Invincible God howl in pain. What was even more unimaginable for Invincible God was that he could not even dodge it. He could only watch helplessly as he crashed into the rock. That intense pain instantly stimulated his entire body. Blood flowed down his entire face, and it became hideous and twisted. "Young master, are you all right?" Immediately, a subordinate came up to help Invincible God up. Invincible God's face was covered in blood. He pushed the man away with his hand in a domineering manner. "What's going on? I was walking fine just now. How did I fall?" Invincible God grinned and looked him up and down. "I was fine, but I fell on a rock while walking. If this was a sharp rock, wouldn't I be dead?" What a ridiculous thing to do. Invincible God took a deep breath. Coincidence. It must be a coincidence. He walked forward again, but this time he was very careful. There were no stones on the road, and he couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. However, under such circumstances, Invincible God fell again. At the same time he fell, shoo! A harpoon flew over from afar. This harpoon was fast and urgent. It drew an arc and pierced into Invincible God's body. Invincible God was pinned to the ground instantly. That ** star dared to attack me with a harpoon. Invincible God's mind went blank. His entire face was twisted. Not only did he fall, but he was also pierced by the harpoon. What was going on? Invincible God didn't even have time to react. It was as if he had become a target. This feeling was too terrifying. Invincible God had never encountered something like this before. After the harpoon flew over, one of his subordinates ran over in a hurry. He was trembling and his face was pale. "Young master, I'm sorry. I was practicing fishing just now. I don't know what happened, but the harpoon flew out. I really didn't know that it would pierce into you." Invincible God's expression changed as he roared, "Scram! Scram as far as you can." He thought that this was the end of it. However, this was just the beginning. Invincible God was sent to the island villa with much difficulty. However, the door fell and he was smashed to the ground, bleeding profusely. Then, the chandelier in the house fell as well. He looked at his phone. It had exploded as well. It could be said that Invincible God had been on the brink of death time and time again throughout the day. The commotion was getting bigger and bigger, causing Invincible God to be on the verge of breaking down. Invincible God had never encountered something like this before. "Father, help." In the woods of Longting Manor, Lin Fei sipped his tea slowly. The corner of his lips curled up as he cut off the connection. "Invincible God, this is just the beginning. My bad luck talisman isn't that easy to deal with. If I don't let you experience what it's like to walk on the brink of death, I wouldn't be an immortal." Invincible God's bad luck was clearly seen by Lin Fei through a special method. Invincible God gave Lin Fei a gift, and Lin Fei did the same. When Invincible God came looking for him, Lin Fei secretly planted a talisman on Invincible God. This talisman was drawn in the air and was untraceable. Only Lin Fei could do something like this. Someone like Invincible God didn't even notice, and was quietly planted with the talisman. Initially, Lin Fei didn't plan to use it, but Invincible God was asking for it. Lin Fei decided to grant Invincible God his wish. Once the bad luck talisman was used, bad luck would worsen, and it would get worse by the day. In the end, one would be killed by bad luck. Of course, this was under extremely bad circumstances. Invincible God might be able to survive, but he definitely wouldn't end up well. At the very least, he would be bedridden for a year or two. To Lin Fei, killing Invincible God would be too easy on him. Torturing him was the way to go and let him live in endless fear. The bad luck talisman would teach Invincible God to be a good person. Boss, that Kaishan has already started taking action in the East China Sea. I just received news that he has consecutively challenged 2 dojos. His actions are very vicious. Now, everyone's expression has changed. Yu Zishan walked over. Kaishan is quite a schemer. He's planning to raise his essence, qi, and spirit to the peak before fighting me. That's a good move. But in China's territory, it seems like a Southeast Asian tame headmaster has the chance to show off. Lin Fei laughed. Yu Zishan said, "Boss, I can actually do it. Although he's good at tame head techniques, if I attack secretly, I can definitely make him suffer and scram out of the East China Sea." "There's no need for that." Lin Fei laughed. "Invincible God wants me to be the strongest in the East China Sea, right? Then I'll be the strongest justifiably. It'll save me a lot of trouble. I'll just let Kaishan do it." Naturally, Lin Fei didn't think much of Kaishan. Even if it was tame head technique in his eyes, it was just a crooked way of doing things. It wasn't considered a power at all. It would be a pity not to accept Invincible God's gift. It would save him a lot of trouble in the future if he attacked this time. After all, the strongest in the East China Sea still had a certain level of deterrence. Chapter 3989. In a well-known martial arts club in Donghai, there was dead silence at this time. "Your martial arts club is just SOSO. I'm so disappointed." Kaishan shook his head, turned around, and walked out. When he reached the main entrance, he turned around and smashed the signboard with his palm. The broken pieces of the signboard rained down from the sky, and he swaggered out. From the beginning to the end, no one dared to stop the #1 black magic master in Southeast Asia, Kaishan. Everyone underestimated Kaishan's strength. In everyone's impression, Kaishan's most powerful means should be tame head, but Kaishan was different. Not only did he master powerful tame head, but he also mastered extremely powerful Muay Thai. Coupled with his guru physique, when he performed Muay Thai, it was fierce and vicious, and almost no one dared to face it head-on. This was the #3 martial arts club that had been wiped out by him. Kaishan, the #1 tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, has really gone too far. We must find someone, otherwise all the martial arts clubs in Donghai will not be able to withstand Kaishan's attack. The club master, who was being helped up, had a gloomy expression. This matter must be reported to our Martial Alliance in Donghai immediately. Yes, we must tell the Martial Alliance and ask them to come up with a solution. Otherwise, the martial arts circle in Donghai will probably be swept away this time. At the mention of the Martial Alliance, everyone showed a glimmer of hope and expectation. After Kaishan came out of the martial arts club, he got into a Mercedes-Benz. Let's move on to the next martial arts club. The martial arts clubs in Donghai are not very powerful. This time, I will definitely wipe them all out. Also, arrange for someone to keep an eye on Lin Fei from Longting Villa and see what he does. Kaishan had already regarded Lin Fei from Longting Villa as a potential opponent. As for the news about the #1 expert in Donghai that had spread in the martial arts circle, Kaishan smiled faintly. It was obvious that someone had deliberately raised Lin Fei's profile, which was of course what Kaishan wanted to see the most. After all, 6 or 7 guru experts had been defeated by Longting Villa. Lin Fei must have a certain level of personal strength and was barely worthy of the title of the #1 expert in Donghai. Therefore, Kaishan preferred to defeat Lin Fei. At that time, as the #1 expert in Southeast Asia, Chai San's influence would definitely increase greatly. Kaishan really had to thank those people who had acted in the dark. It just happened to prove that the Chinese loved infighting, and the advantage of infighting was that outsiders could take advantage of it. Bureau Chief, this Southeast Asia's #1 black tame headmaster, Kaishan, is really terrifying. His Muay Thai is deadly. If he didn't fight in Donghai, he might lose his life. If it were anywhere else, these martial artists would have been killed. Behind the Mercedes-Benz was an ordinary Regal. Iron War, who was sitting in the driver's seat, had a dark expression. Hearing Lin Ro's words, he frowned. This Kaishan is indeed powerful. I have underestimated him. Looks like his goal this time is very clear. Director, I think it's better for us to talk to Kaishan in person. If we let him continue to cause trouble, I'm afraid our entire Eastern martial arts circle will look bad. Lin Ro suggested, if it was an ordinary person, Iron War would have already arrested him or chased him out. However, Kaishan, the #1 black tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, had a great influence in Southeast Asia, and his identity was clean. If there was no reason, even Iron War would be embarrassed to do anything to such a person. Challenging a martial arts club was a very normal thing. For the time being, let's keep an eye on him. Oh yeah, is there any reaction from Lin Fei? Iron War asked. He mentioned the news to Lin Fei because he wanted to see what Lin Fei was going to do. Lin Ro shook her head. There's no news for the time being. Our people only saw him in the villa, and he seemed to be very relaxed. Iron War was also impressed by Lin Fei. If an ordinary person heard such news, they would definitely be restless. After all, this was a big matter in the martial arts circle. The title of the #1 expert in Donghai was not as simple as it sounded. Director, this Lin Fei's background is mysterious. Do you think he really has the strength of the #1 expert in Donghai? The news is getting more and more intense. I'm afraid that once that person returns, he will inevitably fight with Lin Fei, Lin Ro said in a low voice. With that person's temper, I'm afraid that once he finds out about this, he will definitely find trouble with Lin Fei. Hearing this, Iron War could not help but have a headache. One must know that there were several experts in Donghai, and the strongest among them was that boorish man who was known as the #1 expert in Donghai. Now that Lin Fei had emerged and the news was getting more and more intense, it was obvious that he wanted to replace that boorish man. Iron War was very clear about that boorish man's temper. It was definitely a bad temper, similar to a stone in a latrine pit. Such a boorish man, if not for the fact that he had not been in Donghai recently, might have already gone to find Lin Fei to learn from each other. This matter is indeed troublesome. Our Donghai has been peaceful for so long, but it seems that with the arrival of Lin Fei, all kinds of disturbances have arisen. Iron War did not know whether to laugh or cry. The appearance of such a mysterious guy in Donghai had indeed brought great trouble to Iron War, especially in the auction in 2 months. He had never thought that Lin Fei would take out the spiritual water and even the elixir to auction. When hearing the news, Iron War's first thought was whether that Lin Fei was planning to take out the upgrade elixir to auction. If he really did auction it, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Iron War felt that he was about to lose control of this matter. Right now, one thing followed another. The only thing he could be thankful for was that the relationship between the Yan Huang battle team and Lin Fei was still all right for the time being. At least the Yan Huang battle team had 10 more Dark Jing experts, and that was enough. Now we can only take it one step at a time. What the hell is this? In the next few days, Southeast Asia's #1 sorcerer, Guishan, kept looking for dojos to challenge. The strength of the challenge dojos became stronger and stronger. 5 days ago, it defeated the 7th-ranked dojo. 3 days ago, it defeated the 3rd-ranked dojo. Today, even the #1 dojo was successfully defeated by Kaishan. Everyone knew that the next target of Chaishan, the #1 black tame headmaster in Southeast Asia, might be Lin Fei. At the Longting Mountain Villa, several warriors came to visit. They were from the Donghai Martial Alliance. The strength of the Martial Alliance was only inferior to that of the Yan Huang battle team. It was a private organization with great influence. This time, they came to visit Lin Fei of the Longting Mountain Villa, hoping that Lin Fei would deal with Kaishan. They could not let him continue to sweep them. In the end, Yu Zishan sent them away with a sentence. Our boss will not see anyone." This made the Marshall Alliance very angry. At this time, Lin Fei appeared in a design company because his amethyst design was completed. Chapter 3990. The purple jade was not that important to Lin Fei. However, he was quite interested in Su Mei. After all, such a physique was really rare. When Yu Zishan came over to report that the purple jade necklace was designed, Lin Fei was prepared to come over personally and meet Su Mei. He had some thoughts that he wanted to tell Su Mei. Su Mei's workplace was located in an inconspicuous bungalow in Jiangdong district. If it was not for the location, Lin Fei would have suspected that he had come to the wrong place. This was because it was a very antique building. At a glance, Lin Fei could tell that it should be a building from the era of the Republic of China. There were not many such buildings in Jiangdong district. "Young Master Lin, why are you here personally?" Su Mei had been waiting for the other party. When she saw that it was Lin Fei who came in, she could not help but be shocked. Ever since the incident at the manor, Su Mei had saved a lot of trouble because those people did not dare to talk to her anymore. Su Mei knew that it was Lin Fei's effect. This time, she only informed Master Yu. She did not expect Lin Fei to come personally. This caused Su Mei to be at a loss. After seeing Lin Fei's mysteriousness, Su Mei naturally had a trace of fear towards Lin Fei. After all, the two of them were not on the same level. Therefore, Su Mei would rather inform Master Yu than Lin Fei. When Lin Fei stood there, Su Mei felt that she had met a demon king. Her voice was a little shaky. Lin Fei joked, "Little Su, am I that scary? Since when did I become a man-eating tiger?" Su Mei burst into laughter and could not help but say, "Young Master Lin, you're much scarier than a tiger." After saying that, Su Mei realized that she seemed to have said something wrong. She did not dare to look at Lin Fei again and lowered her head. Lin Fei felt that this situation was very normal. "Didn't you say that the purple jade has been designed? Can you take me to have a look? I can also appreciate your work." Lin Fei changed the topic. At the mention of this, Su Mei became spirited and her eyes lit up. "Young Master Lin, don't worry. The purple jade necklace I designed this time will definitely satisfy you." He walked into the building. Lin Fei sensed the antique atmosphere, and there were even many places that still retained the flavor of history. In addition to Su Mei, there were many other female workers in the house. All of them were well educated and had an artistic aura. It was obvious that they were female designers. Su Mei led Lin Fei into a room. The room was not big, and there were various tools and blueprints on the table. Su Mei carefully opened a safe and took out a purple jade necklace. The purple jade necklace that had been polished was very bright at first glance. The whole necklace was in the shape of a heart. It was decorated with countless crystals and diamonds, which were shining. With a simple match, the purple jade necklace instantly became high-end and full of aristocratic aura. Su Mei calmly introduced, "Young Master Lin, this purple jadeite uses your purple jadeite as the center, coupled with the corresponding carat crystals and diamonds. Finally, I named this purple jadeite necklace Heart Magic." Lin Fei listened to Su Mei's introduction and was very satisfied with the purple jade necklace. "I like the necklace you designed." Su Mei was actually uneasy. After all, it was the first time that she designed such a good purple jade necklace. To be honest, she was really afraid that Lin Fei would not be satisfied. When the purple jade was brought back, even the whole studio was shocked. It could be imagined how significant a piece of purple jade was. After hearing Lin Fei's praise, Su Mei heaved a sigh of relief. "Young Master Lin, thank you for giving me such an opportunity to design. Otherwise, I can't imagine having the opportunity to design such a purple jade." Su Mei was grateful again and again. Lin Fei laughed. "Do you know why I gave the purple jade to you? If you guess correctly, there will be a prize." Lin Fei said, mischievously, which was rare. Su Mei was nervous for a moment. From the time she left, She knew that Lin Fei gave the purple jade to her, certainly not because of her design ability. But now hearing this again, she couldn't help but feel nervous. Could it be that young Master Lin has taken a fancy to me? Should I refuse? Or not refuse? This is a very confusing thing. Apart from appearance, Sume really couldn't think of anything. For a moment, she didn't know how to answer. Little Sue, are you there? There is a great thing. You will be happy to hear it. A voice came from the corridor outside. Then a tall young man rushed in. This tall figure was a strong man with a ponytail. His whole body exuded a fashionable aura. To put it in layman's terms, he was very fashionable. Not only did he tie his ponytail, but he also wore ear studs and had light makeup on his face. Both inside and outside, he exuded a very feminine aura. Who are you? Why are you standing here? The tall man was stunned. When he came in, he saw Sume talking to a strange man and the purple jade, so he couldn't help but ask. When Sume heard this, she felt terrible. She knew that young Master Lin was someone that even Master Yu had to serve. He couldn't be easily offended. Brotherly, what are you talking about? This is my customer. Li Qi was the tall and fashionable man. When he heard this, he couldn't help but look at the strange man from head to toe. This kind of situation often happened here, so Li Qi didn't take it seriously. He just glanced at it lightly and didn't pay attention to it anymore. Little Sue, why did you take out the purple jade necklace and let an outsider see it? If the news gets out, you and I can't afford to make any mistakes. Li Qi turned around and said to Lin Fei, I have something to discuss with little Sue. If it's not urgent, please take a seat outside for a while. Li Qi was the second shareholder of the company. At the same time, he was also a designer. Speaking in his own territory, he was very confident. Moreover, the person in front of him was dressed in ordinary clothes, and there was nothing special about him. Li Qi also categorized him as an ordinary person. He probably found Su Mei through some means, and this kind of thing wasn't rare for Li Qi. Lin Fei found it funny. This guy with a sissy accent? Is he so blind that he can't even see this? Little Sue, since you have something to discuss, let's talk next time. Leave the purple jade necklace to me. When Li Qi heard this, he suddenly jumped up. No, this purple jade necklace can't be taken away just because you said so. Who do you think you are? Chapter 3991. This time, Li Qi had come for this jade necklace. At the same time, he planned to discuss it with Su Mei. He believed that Su Mei would agree after hearing the news. Even the owner of the purple jade would have to think twice after knowing it. Seeing Su Mei's action, Li Qi couldn't calm down and shouted. Lin Fei smiled. Is this purple jade necklace yours? You're quite arrogant to not let me take it away. Su Mei hurriedly explained. Child Lin, you misunderstood. Brotherly doesn't know. Please don't be angry. Of course. Lin Fei wouldn't be angry with such a person. After all, in his eyes, such a person was just a nobody. As long as he didn't get in his way, it would be the same as not seeing him. Hearing Su Mei's words, Li Qi was unhappy. He knew that the purple jade was brought back, and he envied Su Mei for getting such a big deal. Such a big purple jade was very rare. Their studio hadn't gotten such a purple jade for a long time. During this period, he gave a lot of suggestions. If it was usual, it wouldn't be a big deal. But this time was different. Little Sue, I'm telling you, someone wants to buy this purple jade necklace. I want you to contact the owner and have a good talk with him. He likes this purple jade necklace very much and is willing to pay a high price for it. Li Qi hastily said. Su Mei's face darkened. This jade necklace belonged to Lin Fei, not her. How could Li Qi say such a thing? Brotherly, how can you say that? This purple jade necklace belongs to someone else, not me. When Su Mei brought it back, she didn't say that the purple jade would come to Longting Manor. After all, Longting Manor was a special existence in Donghai. Su Mei didn't want to scare people. When she went to Longting Manor, she was also shocked. Li Qi turned to Lin Fei and said coldly, I think you should be rich, but this purple jade necklace is not something you can get just because you want it. You should know that such a purple jade necklace must be worn by the most distinguished person. Do you know who wants this purple jade necklace this time? You definitely didn't expect it. That's someone you can't afford to offend. Lin Fei smiled happily. Someone actually touched his purple jade necklace. Fortunately, he came. Otherwise, with this person's character, he might really take the necklace by force. Lin Fei still had this little bit of eyesight. He was still very accurate in judging people. Who is it? I really want to know. Tell me. Lin Fei gave Su Mei a look. Su Mei originally wanted to say, but she simply shut up. Su Mei could only pray for Li Qi in her heart. Please don't anger young Master Lin. Otherwise, it would be big trouble. Master you alone was enough to make them work hard. Li Qi also wanted Su Mei to know that this time the person who wanted this purple jade necklace was not an ordinary person, but a real dignitary of Donghai. He showed off and said, I'm in a good mood today, so I'll tell you. The person who wants this purple jade necklace is Donghai's Lai family. I think you definitely haven't heard of the Lai family. The Lai family is a low-key family in Donghai, but in the whole Donghai, no one dares to offend them. When they see them, they have to be polite. This time, the person who came to our studio is the Lai family's third young master, Lai Xian. He wants this purple jade necklace as a gift for his woman, and he even offered a high price of 150 million yuan. Li Qi was very excited. Su Mei, think about it. It's a purple jade necklace worth 150 million yuan. As long as this purple jade necklace is worn by Lai Xian's woman, and he helps to promote it a little, you can successfully become a top designer. This influence. Li Qi was ecstatic when he finished speaking. When he saw Lai Xian bring a woman in, Li Qi knew that his opportunity had come. This was an opportunity that everyone wanted to get, and all he needed to do was to contact Su Mei and let her contact the owner of the purple jade necklace. He believed that the owner of the purple jade necklace would definitely choose to agree after knowing about Lai Xian's existence. After all, not everyone could offend the Lai family. Even the Bai family and the Li family did not dare to offend them. Brotherly, the purple jade necklace belongs to someone else. How can you do this? Su Mei was also panicking. This purple jade necklace belonged to Lin Fei, and Lin Fei was standing right in front of her. This kind of thing made Su Mei feel very awkward. Li Qi was also panicking. Li Qi was getting anxious as well. We didn't say that we would agree on his behalf. We just wanted you to help contact that master. I believe that he will definitely agree. You should know that Lai Xian is sitting outside right now. Hurry up and give that master a call. If you're too embarrassed to say it, then I'll do it for him. I believe that the other party is a reasonable person. Lin Fei suddenly laughed. Little Su, it seems that your studio's confidentiality measures are not very good. How can an outsider know about the purple jade necklace? If I didn't come today, who knows when this purple jade necklace would have been exchanged? Lin Fei suddenly laughed. Little Su, it seems that the security measures of your studio are not very good. Young Master Lin must be angry. What should we do now? Su Mei was also panicking. Lin Fan was standing right in front of her, and she had to hear such words. No one would have a good temper, especially young Master Lin, who was a person with a powerful background. Even Master Yu Zishan had to listen to him. Li Qi thought that Lin Fan was afraid, but it seemed that he was not afraid at all. Hence, he glared at Lin Fei fiercely. Kid, you're so arrogant. Don't tell me that this purple jade necklace is yours. You should have heard what you shouldn't have. You can leave now. We don't welcome you. Li Qi planned to chase him away this time. He wanted to have a good conversation with Su Mei now. He believed that Su Mei would definitely listen to him. If he hadn't seen that Su Mei was beautiful and invited her to the studio, he wouldn't even know where she would be now. Su Mei bowed to Lin Fei and said, Young Master Lin, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that the news would spread. I'll return this purple jade necklace to you now, Su Mei said as she handed the purple jade necklace to Lin Fei. Li Qi was confused when he heard that. He subconsciously reached out to take the jade necklace back. Su Mei, what's wrong with you? Did you get cheated? Li Qi subconsciously didn't think that this person was the owner of the purple jade necklace because he was too ordinary. Li Qi, can you stop fooling around? This purple jade necklace belongs to young Master Lin. He's the owner of this purple jade necklace. I advise you to apologize to young Master Lin, Su Mei said coldly. Li Qi's hand stopped in midair. He's the owner of the purple jade necklace? I'm the devil of the universe. He reached out to snatch the purple jade necklace. How dare you touch my things? Lin Fei snorted coldly and casually slapped Li Qi's face. Li Qi spun countless times and was thrown to the corridor outside the door. Chapter 3992. Lin Fei sent Li Qi flying with a single slap. Li Qi was stunned. He had actually been hit in his own territory. He crawled up and roared, "You dare to hit me? You're dead." Although Li Qi wasn't a disciple of any family, he was still a prideful person. Moreover, he had come on behalf of Lai Xian, and now he had actually been hit. "You're dead. You're dead. I'll make you kneel down and sing Conquer right now." Li Qi continued to roar. "Security, come here. Security, get your asses over here right now." A few security guards ran over from the end of the corridor. They were all tall and burly, and they all had some foundation as they walked. Clearly, they all had a certain level of strength. When they saw Li Qi's sorry state, they immediately ran over. "Young Master Qi has the guts to hit you. I'll arrest him right now." One of the burly men waved the rubber bat in his hand fiercely. "It's this B** starred. Arrest him right now. He dares to steal from our studio. He has to be arrested." Li Qi twisted the truth the moment he opened his mouth, calling Lin Fei a thief. When Su Mei heard this, she became anxious. "Li Qi, you're talking nonsense. He's not a thief. He's my client. Who told you to say that?" Su Mei was extremely angry at this moment. She had never imagined that Li Qi, who she had a good impression of, would actually be such a person. It was clearly him who was in the wrong first, but in the end, he turned the truth upside down. Li Qi laughed coldly. "If I say it's a thief, then it's a thief. Arrest him right now. If he dares to resist, break both his arms and legs. If anything happens, I'll take responsibility." At this moment, Li Qi's face was filled with anger. As for whether the purple jade belonged to this person, Li Qi didn't think too much about it. In any case, he had to take care of this guy today. In all his life, no one had ever dared to hit him like this. Furthermore, it was a slap to his face. That was something Li Qi couldn't swallow. If he didn't ruthlessly take care of this fellow, he felt like he wouldn't be able to sleep well for the next month. Just thinking about it made him furious. "Look at your sissy face. Sure enough, you do things differently. The moment you open your mouth, you speak ill of me. If I were an ordinary person, wouldn't I be completely dominated by you?" Lin Fei moved his hand and put away the purple jade necklace. He had learned a lot. If young Master Qi says you're a thief, then you're a thief. A fierce security guard coldly snorted and rushed over. "You dare to hit our young Master Qi. You really have a lot of guts." The rubber stick left a shadow behind as it smashed towards Lin Fei's head. This strike was fast and ruthless. It was obvious that this guy had done this kind of thing many times. Lin Fei raised his leg and kicked the security guard away. Of course, he also hit Li Qi's body. With a plop, the two of them directly flipped more than 10 meters away. The former security guard was directly lying on the ground, unable to move, while the latter's ribs were broken on the spot. He could only lie on the ground like a dog. After the remaining 3 security guards looked at each other, they roared, "You still dare to make a move? Kneel down." The 3 security guards directly attacked. Bang! 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 Lin Fei once again raised his leg and kicked the three of them away. They directly hit the sturdy security guard and Li Qi. The two of them directly saw stars and could only gasp for breath. Young Master Lin, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Su Mei came up to explain. Lin Fei shook his head and said with a smile, It's not your fault. I believe that someone just wants to curry favor with someone. Even if he didn't meet me, he would still appear. I believe that it's not the first time that he has done this kind of thing. Su Mei now also had a very bad impression of Li Qi. She subconsciously nodded. It seems like it. In the past, there have been several incidents in our studio. At that time, I naively thought that our studio did not do anything, but some people were just lucky enough to encounter it. Now it seems that it is not the case. Maybe Li Qi did it on his own. Li Qi struggled to get up. Every time he breathed, he felt a burst of pain in his ribs. Young Master Lin, you dare to hit me. Then you wait for me. If I don't deal with you today, I am not Li Qi. Li Qi threw down a sentence and ran towards the corridor in a sorry state. Li Qi was also a smart person. He also knew that he could not take advantage of the other party, so he planned to find someone else. Since you have already said so, if I don't give you a chance, wouldn't it be too disrespectful? I will wait here and see who you can find. Lin Fei was too lazy to pay attention to this kind of trash. If it was not for Su Mei, he would not have come here at all. After waiting for Li Qi to run away, Lin Fei looked at Su Mei and said, Have you decided to work here? If nothing unexpected happens with that guy's character, if he can't get any benefits from me, he might take revenge on you. Su Mei was also thoroughly disappointed with this place. Thank you for your concern, young Master Lin. I am already disappointed with this place. I will resign. I don't want to work here anymore. Donghai is so big. I believe that it is possible to find a place to design. In fact, without Lin Fei's words, Su Mei would have already decided to change to another place. She could also see that Li Qi's character was not as good as she had imagined. Originally, her good impression was completely destroyed because of this matter. Lin Fei said, I don't know if you are interested in changing to another job. I think you will like it. What job? Su Mei asked curiously. She had a feeling that young Master Lin wasn't here for Amethyst, but for her. Are you interested in being my disciple? Disciple? Su Mei was completely shocked. She was unable to recover from her shock for a while. What disciple? Lin Fei's trip here was actually to accept Su Mei as his disciple. With a physique like Su Mei's, he had a lot of cultivation techniques in his mind that could be cultivated. When the time comes with his resources, he would be able to display his physique perfectly. In the future, he would be able to reach an extremely high realm. Lin Fei rarely accepted disciples, but Su Mei could be considered an exception. This was because the other party's physique was very rare. It was the 10,000-year Yin body, and this kind of physique was most suitable for cultivating special cultivation techniques. Lin Fei believed in fate. Since Su Mei was able to come to Longting Villa and met him, then this was a cause and effect relationship. Lin Fei did not mind accepting a disciple in Huaxia. Young Master Lai, it's this guy. I talked to him in every possible way, but he actually snatched the amethyst necklace and insisted that it was his own. This is clearly making things difficult for young Master Lai. At this time, another group of people came from the end of the corridor. The leader was a fashionable young man with a flirtatious woman by his side. Beside him, Li Qi, who was like a lackey, was adding oil to the fire. Is it you who snatched my amethyst necklace? The fashionable young man raised his head and looked over. Do you know what will happen to you if you snatch something from my life family? Chapter 3993. As the third son of the Lai family, Lai Xian was indeed very domineering. His entire being was like a ferocious tiger. Once he was angry, he would instantly cause a huge impact. Compared to his previous fashionable appearance, this was a drastic change. Once Lai Xian had decided on something, no one could change his mind. In the martial arts circle of the East Sea, he was once again called a little tiger. Although Lai Xian had a bad temper and a fiery temper, he was also good at observing people. After seeing the other party, Lai Xian quickly sized him up. He did not recognize this person, and he even seemed very ordinary. Furthermore, he did not have the aura of a martial artist on him, which meant that he was just an ordinary person. At most, he was just a bit rich. This was a common sight. In Lai Xian's eyes, no matter how rich one was, he would not be able to do anything in front of a martial artist. Since it was just an ordinary person with money, Lai Xian did not hold back. He released his aura and was like a ferocious little tiger waiting for an opportunity, ready to tear the other party's neck apart with his sharp claws. Unfortunately, this time he was facing Lin Fei. Lin Fei smiled faintly. I know that the Lai family is the strongest family in the East Sea. They keep a low profile in the East Sea, and no one dares to disrespect them. However, no matter how powerful the Lai family is, do I need to give you face? Everyone's expressions changed. This guy is dead for sure. How dare he speak to the third young master like this? Does he not know how powerful the Lai family is? Li Qi wanted to clap and cheer. Where did this arrogant kid come from? Li Qi knew that the more this Lin Fei guy offended Lai Xian, the worse his fate would be. He had seen many people offending Lai Xian, and the consequences were severe. Even their families were affected. Young Master Lai, there is still someone who dares to disrespect the Lai family. I think that people like this need to be taught a lesson. Otherwise, they will really think that Lai family is nothing. The flirtatious woman beside him added insult to injury. Her eyes filled with disdain. Lai Xian had only come here because he was interested in the purple jade necklace. He did not expect to meet such an arrogant guy. From his words, it seemed like the Lai family was not worth a penny. So you know about the Lai family. Since you know about the Lai family, you must know how powerful we are. I really don't know who gave you the guts to speak like this. Kneel right now. Boom! Lai Xian took a step forward, and the pressure from his body surged forth like a tidal wave. It was as if he was going to crush Lin Fei. This was a kind of application of power. Lai Xian's usage of it had reached the point of perfection. The moment this aura was unleashed, everyone other than himself felt an immense pressure. It was as if they had to obediently bow down and kneel before this pressure. With a wave of his hand, Lin Fei instantly swept away the momentum. Su Mei, who was standing behind Lin Fei, also felt a sense of suffocation. However, she soon recovered and her eyes widened. Is this a martial artist? Don't think that Su Mei was a woman who knew nothing. In fact, she still knew some information. After all, if she could enter the Soaring Dragon Manor, she would more or less be able to find out some things that were not known to others. Moreover, as a designer, she also knew some information about cultivators. All in all, martial artists were very powerful. Just now, Su Mei felt as if she was being stared at by a tiger. All the pores on her body stood up. This feeling was really too scary. Su Mei knew that martial artists were very powerful, but she had never imagined that one's aura could reach such a level. As a man, as a martial artist, you actually used your aura to oppress others, especially girls. Don't you think that's very ungentlemanly? Lin Fei said. Lai Xian laughed out loud. In front of me, it's only gentlemanly for me to give it to you. If I don't give it to anyone, it's the same for women. However, you're quite powerful to actually be able to withstand my tiger's might. No wonder you dare to look down on our Lai family. Lin Fei said seriously. Actually, if you had apologized to Miss Su Mei just now, I might have looked at you in a different light. After all, using martial arts to bully ordinary people is not something that a strong person would do. Since you think that strength is a sign of gentlemanly behavior, then you better kneel before me. At the same time, I'll let you see what the true tiger's might is. Don't think that just because you have some superficial knowledge, you're the king of heaven. In my eyes, you're nothing. You think you're qualified to say such things to me? In the entire East Sea, Even you Zishan of the Soaring Dragon Manor and the Grandmaster of the Carefree Manor have no right to say such things to me. What right do you have to say such things to me? Just because you know how to brag? Lai Xian laughed out loud. Lin Fei took a step forward. After this step, an invisible force instantly rushed out. In front of everyone's eyes, a huge, brightly colored tiger appeared. It looked ferocious, and with a single pounce, it pounced towards them. The tiger is here. This is too scary. As a martial artist, Lai Xian's hair stood on and the moment the tiger's might appeared. His entire person was filled with shock. It was as if a tiger had really appeared in front of him. It had a bloodthirsty aura that made one's hair stand on end. Tiger's might. You know tigers might as well. How is this possible? How old are you? As the tiger's might roared, Lai Xian knelt on the ground with a thud. I won't kneel. Lai Xian struggled, but the pressure was like a mountain pressing down on him, rendering him unable to move. Even the ground started to crack. The flirtatious woman beside him collapsed to the ground, and the stench of urine permeated the air. As for the remaining few, they were all in the same state. They no longer had the high spirits they had earlier. All of them knelt on the ground, their faces pale and cold sweat dripping down. Their bodies were still trembling. Is this what a martial artist is capable of? Su Mei asked timidly, standing behind them, even though she had not seen what the tigers might look like. However, the image of a huge, brightly colored tiger appeared in Su Mei's mind. It was infinitely huge, and with just a light pounce, it seemed to have locked onto everyone. It was a strange feeling. Compared to the tiger's might from before, the difference in strength was immediately apparent. Yes, this is one of the ways that a martial artist uses his might. Are you interested now? Lin Fei said with a smile. Actually, for someone like Lai Xian, he could just poke the ground with a single finger, rendering him immobile. However, Lin Fei did not do that. He wanted to show Su Mei what a martial artist was capable of. Fortunately, Su Mei was just as he had imagined. She was interested in this. Lin Fei smiled as well. Young Master Lin, I'm willing to be your disciple. Su Mei said seriously. She felt that a whole new world had opened up to her. Chapter 3994. Everyone who had been kneeling on the ground, especially Lai Xian, felt like vomiting blood when they heard this. You caused such a huge commotion just to make Su Mei your disciple. Do you have to be such a bully? I am a member of the Lai family after all. Let go of me. Do you really intend to offend the Lai family? Lai Xian struggled and roared, but was unable to stand. The murderous intent in his eyes was intense, and he wanted nothing more than to cut the person before him into pieces. In the East Sea, Lai Xian was also a grandmaster. However, this was the first time he had encountered such a terrifying person. He did not even have the strength to struggle and could only kneel there. This was a huge blow to his pride. I've already said, what's so great about the Lai family? I can't stand people like you the most, bullying an ordinary person with your strength. I know you're not convinced, so I'll give you a chance now. Isn't your Lai family very powerful? Then let the experts of the Lai family pass. I'll take care of as many as you come. That should be to your liking, right? With a thought from Lin Fei, Lai Xian felt like he had regained some of his freedom and was no longer as oppressive as before. He said fiercely, All right, just you wait. If I don't find someone to take care of you, I'm not Lai Xian. Without another word, Lai Xian took out his phone and made a call. Third uncle, I'm being bullied. Call the experts over immediately. He then left his specific location. As soon as he finished speaking, Lai Xian was once again crushed by the pressure. With a thud, he knelt on the ground once more. Instantly, the ground cracked, creating many cracks. Lin Fei swaggered down and sat down. My dear disciple, do you have tea? Brew a pot of tea for me. Su Mei had naturally heard of Lai Xian as well. Of course, she had only heard of him in legends. now that she was kneeling in front of him like a stray dog. She was not used to it at first. However, as time passed, she felt that it was only natural. What was so great about a man bullying a commoner like her? Yes, yes, I'll brew a pot for master right away. Su Mei went out to brew tea. Not long after, a pot of fragrant tea was brewed. I didn't expect your tea brewing skills to be so good. Lin Fei looked at Su Mei's tea brewing skills and couldn't help but praise. Su Mei chuckled and said, I learned it when I was free. I'm still far from those standard tea artists. Lin Fei smiled and said, that's not bad. You have full control of the heat. It seems that I want to drink tea in the future. That's really a blessing. As for Lai Xian, who was kneeling on the ground, he had never felt such helplessness and pain before. He was a dignified grandmaster, yet he had to kneel on the ground just like that. The only thing that made him feel fortunate was that there were no outsiders around, so he did not have to worry about news of what had happened spreading. Otherwise, he would have become a laughingstock in his circle. However, Lai Xian had already treated this fellow as an enemy in his heart. As long as someone from his family came, Lai Xian swore that he would break this fellow's limbs and torture him every day so that he would know the consequences of offending him. At this moment, Lai Xian had never hated anyone as much as he did, and this person was the only one. Outside the building, about half an hour later, 4 cars drove over. All of them were black Mercedes-Benz. The one in the lead was a black Maybach. A group of people got out of the Mercedes-Benz and opened the door for the Maybach. When the door opened, a middle-aged man with a handlebar mustache got out of the car. He was wearing a traditional Chinese suit, but his aura was very strong. He was the 3rd elder of the Lai family, Lai Wuqing. In the Lai family, he was considered one of the strongest. Just like his name, he was cold and ruthless. In the Lai family, he was in charge of the family rules. It could be said that in the entire Lai family, no one was afraid of the patriarch but Lai Wuqing. All the disciples of the Lai family had suffered at the hands of Lai Wuqing many times. After suffering, they did not dare to speak loudly and admitted their mistakes honestly. Lai Wuqing raised his head and looked at the building. He frowned slightly and said, Xiao Xian, why are you here? There shouldn't be any experts in a place like this. Lai Wuqing had been drinking tea at home. When he received his nephew's call, he rushed over immediately. After all, the Lai family was in the East Sea. Although they kept a low profile, it did not mean that they would be bullied. It had been a long time since anyone had dared to cause trouble for the Lai family. Now that someone had made a move on his nephew, it could be considered a provocation to the Lai family. Lai Wuqing was very satisfied with Xiao Xian. Be it his talent or his way of doing things. Other than his bad temper, he was pretty good. In Lai Wuqing's opinion, as a martial artist, it would be abnormal if he did not have a temper. Which martial artist did not have a temper? Therefore, Lai Wuqing had come personally. He wanted to see which family dared to not give the Lai family face. All of you stand guard outside. Without my permission, no one is allowed to come in. Lai Wuqing coldly threw out these words and led the group of people in. After entering, Lai Wuqing did not need to take the initiative to find the way. Immediately, someone led him to the corridor upstairs. The moment Lai Wuqing walked into the corridor, he saw a group of people kneeling on the ground. There was also a faint smell of urine in the air. His eyes suddenly turned cold. "Third uncle, you're finally here. This is the bastard. Hurry up and capture him. I'm going to skin him alive and tear out his tendons. I'm going to make him die a horrible death." Lai Xian roared ferociously as he glared at Lin Fei. In the Lai family, Lai Xian was a grandmaster. However, in front of his own 3rd uncle, there was still a gap in strength. After all, the other party was a true veteran grandmaster, ranked in the top 50 of the grandmaster ranking. Lai Xian, who ranked in the 80s or 90s, could not compare to him. As soon as Lai Xian finished speaking, the pressure on his head increased significantly. His entire body lay on the ground like a dead dog. He was truly prostrating on the ground. This time he could not even move. His entire face was stuck to the ground. Lin Fei walked over and stepped on Lai Xian's face. Say, if I step on your face, will the Lai family make trouble for me? Be *starred, let go of me. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Lai Xian roared. The veins on his face bulged, making him look exceptionally ferocious and terrifying. However, no matter what he did, he was still heavily stepped on by Lin Fei. Lin Fei raised his head and looked at Lai Wuqing. As a grandmaster of the Lai family, do you think I'm right? Lai Wuqing had originally thought that someone would dare to make a move against his nephew, especially in front of him. Wouldn't that be a slap to their faces? It would completely destroy the Lai family's reputation. Lai Wuqing's expression darkened, becoming frighteningly dark. Before he could speak, a warrior beside him said in a low voice, "Third elder, this person seems to be that Lin Fei from the Longting Manor. It must be him. I remember correctly. Longting Manor, Lin Fei." A figure appeared in Lai Wuqing's mind in an instant. It continuously overlapped with the person in front of him, finally turning into a person. His expression changed drastically. Your Longting Manor's Lin Fei. Chapter 3995. Yes, I am Lin Fei. Lin Fei smiled and continued to step on Lai Xian's face. If you want to make a move, do it now. I'm going home for tea. For some reason, Lai Xian, who was being stepped on, felt a sense of familiarity, as if he had heard this name somewhere before. However, he quickly suppressed this thought. How can I know you? I must be overthinking. Lin Fei's words immediately caused Lai Wuqing's expression to become unsettled. Young Master Lin, isn't it inappropriate for you to step on our Lai family's pride like this? Do you really think that the Lai family is afraid of you? Lai Wuqing had never expected to meet Lin Fei of the Longting Mountain Villa here. Lai Wuqing was very sure that this person was the mysterious Lin Fei of the Longting Mountain Villa. In the past few days, the hottest topic in the entire martial arts circle of the East Sea was Lin Fei of the Longting Mountain Villa and the 7 Grandmasters. At the mention of the soaring Dragon Mountain Manor and Lin Fei, everyone could not help but feel terrified. After all, this mysterious person had not only made Yu Zishan submit to him, but he had also made the 7 sect masters not dare to say anything after they left. This kind of person was simply too terrifying. As a low-profile Lai family, they usually kept a low profile. However, they still paid attention to any movements in the entire East Sea and would be notified as soon as they appeared. The name Lin Fei of the Longting Mountain Villa naturally could not escape Lai Wuqing's notice. If it was any other person, Lai Wuqing could deal with them easily. However, since it was Lin Fei, the situation was completely different. Third uncle, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and take down this brat. Isn't he just a guy who knows some martial arts? What's there to be afraid of? Can he be more powerful than the Lai family? Lai Xian had already started shouting. He could not stand the humiliation of being stepped on. He wanted to see Lin Fei's misfortune more than anyone else, then attack and humiliate him. He wanted to torture him until he wished he was dead. Only then would he be able to vent his anger. Shut up! Lai Wuqing suddenly snorted. This time, he was really disappointed in Lai Xian. Of all the people he could have offended, he just had to offend the most mysterious Lin Fei. This put Lai Wuqing in a difficult position. Lai Wuqing could not see a trace of a martial artist's aura from the other party, but he could feel the terrifying pressure from that time. If he had not guessed wrongly, his nephew must have been reduced to such a state by Lin Fei's coercion. The most terrifying thing was that Lin Fei could not even resist the coercion of a grandmaster. This was enough to easily prove one thing, and that was that Lin Fei's strength was unfathomable. Once Lai Wuqing fought with such a person, it would be very difficult for him to defeat the other party unless he went all out. Moreover, for someone of Lai Wuqing's status, he would usually not make a move unless he could figure out the other party's strength. However, this Lin Fei of the Longting Villa was indeed too mysterious. 7 grandmasters had been trapped inside. Although it was partly due to the formation, Lai Wuqing did not believe that the power of the Longting Villa's formation could not reach this level. Back then, the Lai family had probed the Longting Villa many times, so they naturally knew the power of the formation. It was definitely not this terrifying. 7 grandmasters. Did you think that all 7 grandmasters were fake? Third uncle actually shouted at me. How is this possible? Could it be that this Lin Fei is really someone with a powerful background? Lai Xian, who had been clamoring, felt his mind go blank. This was the first time his third uncle had shouted at him. All of a sudden, a figure flashed across his mind. Could it be that Lin Fei was that Lin Fei? Lai Xian's expression turned ugly. After all, he more or less knew who Lin Fei was. If it really was that Lin Fei, then they were really in trouble this time. Even with the Lai family's power, they would definitely be able to gain the upper hand. If things did not go well, the best outcome would be that they would have to suffer in silence. How could it be this guy? Lai Xian regretted coming to this place. Otherwise, he would not have met with such bad luck. Lin Fei looked at Lai Wuqing calmly. Your Lai family offended me, and even tried to snatch something from me. You say that I did not step on him? Then where would I put my face? You should be thankful that I did not go too hard on him. Otherwise, your words would have been for naught. Your Lai family would have suffered a great loss. Speaking of which, you should thank me for showing mercy, don't you think? Lai Wuqing's hand trembled slightly before he retracted it in an instant. He had finally witnessed the tyranny of the Longting Villa's Lin Fei. The Lai family did not hesitate to step on him, but he had to admit that the words of the Longting Villa's Lin Fei made a lot of sense. Although his face had been stepped on, Lai Xian did not suffer many injuries. It was clear that the other party had shown mercy. Lai Wuqing also knew that the other party could not have lied. Perhaps Lai Xian had really done something to offend the other party's leader. Since young Master Lin has put it this way, then our Lai family must have done something wrong. We will take it that our Lai family has suffered a loss. As long as you let Lai Xian go, I will pretend that this never happened. What do you think, young Master Lin? Lai Wuqing did not want to make a move either. He had no chance of winning, especially in front of a guy who did not understand the situation. Letting Lai Xian go is not a problem. However, as a martial arts master, he actually used his aura to bully a girl. That would be embarrassing. Leave 10 million as compensation for mental damage, and we will let this matter go for now. What do you think? Lai Wuqing looked at the girl standing behind Lin Fei and knew what was going on. He replied, no problem. Since he did something wrong, he should pay the price. We will pay 10 million as compensation. Lai Wuqing immediately took out a checkbook and wrote 10 million on it. My good disciple, just accept this check. After all, a strong person bullying a weak girl like you is not something to be proud of. The 10 million check is just right for you to calm down, Lin Fei said, casually. Su Mei was shocked. 10 million just like that. This had once again turned her world upside down. This caused Su Mei to be at a loss for what to do. It was too sudden. The moment Lai Wuqing heard the word disciple, he glared at Lai Xian. What a B****. How did he offend Lin Fei's disciple again? He was just looking for trouble. Lin Fei was mysterious to begin with. Now that he had a disciple, it was no wonder that he had a bone to pick with the Lai family. Lai Xian felt wronged. This girl was not his disciple just a moment ago. It was not his fault either. Lai Xian hated Li Qi now. It was all his fault and the flirtatious girl beside him. Li Qi, who was kneeling on the ground, broke out in cold sweat. When that gaze swept past him, he knew that he was done for. Chapter 3996. In the Maybach, there was still a clear footprint on Lai Xian's face. This was not something that would disappear in a short period of time. Even though he had just beaten Li Qi up like a dead dog and had to be bedridden for at least a year and a half, he still could not suppress the anger in his heart. third uncle. Do I really have no choice but to swallow this? This was a great humiliation for Lai Xian. As long as Lin Fei was still alive, he would never forget the humiliation he had brought him today. Lai Wuqing was expressionless as he looked at him coldly. Little Xian, how many times have I told you not to look for trouble? Why does our Lai family have to keep a low profile in the East Sea? It's because the world is big and there are many experts. Our Lai family is not the strongest. Even in the whole of Huaxia, our Lai family can only be considered a first-rate family. We can't even compare to the top families. Lai Xian's mouth fell open at his uncle's words. How would I know that guy was Lin Fei from Longting Villa? Moreover, I don't think he would come to a place like this. Lai Xian really wanted to curse. How could he have encountered something like this? He must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck. I can't accept this, Lai Wuqing said. Lai Wuqing said, even if you don't want to, you can only endure it for me. It's not like you don't know how powerful that brat is. Think about it. All 8 grandmasters were trapped in the soaring dragon villa. I really can't imagine what those 8 grandmasters experienced. But I absolutely believe that they have experienced a terrible nightmare. Look at the 8 grandmasters. None of them dares to stand out and say anything until now. I also know that many people tried to find out the secret of Longting Villa, but in the end, all of them kept their mouths shut. Not one of them said anything. The problem here is serious. But we are the Lai family. Lai Xian complained. If this gets out, what face will our Lai family have left? Lai Wuqing really hated his nephew for not living up to his expectations. You've said it so clearly. Don't you know? Face is face. But now our Lai clan can't make a move. We can only wait and see. I heard that Longting Villa and the Shen clan, one of the 3 major clans in the south, have a conflict. Our Lai clan only needs to observe the situation. Moreover, your father is not in the Lai clan, so we'll wait for him to come back. The moment Lai Xian heard the word father, he deflated like a balloon. In the family, he was most afraid of his own father. He had suffered a lot since he was young. I'll listen to third uncle. Master, is being a martial artist all that impressive? Su Mei asked curiously on the path outside the building. Even now, Su Mei still felt like she was dreaming. She had actually acknowledged a master, and a very powerful one at that. However, this master seemed to be too young. They looked like a couple walking on the street, which made Su Mei feel weird. Lin Fei smiled and said, that depends on the martial artist. You only need to know that your master is very powerful. However, you're not my real disciple yet. In a few days, I will hold a disciple reception in the villa. At that time, you will be my real disciple. Ah, you want to hold a disciple reception? Su Mei was shocked. Isn't this the same as in the television dramas? Lin Fei smiled and looked at Su Mei. You are my first disciple. How can you be unknown? Furthermore, from now on, you are also the eldest senior sister, so a disciple reception is still very necessary. You should go back and meditate for the next few days and settle some matters while you are at it. When the time comes, you can stay in the Longting Villa. Su Mei had thought that acknowledging a master was just a simple ceremony. She did not expect that there would be a disciple reception. Just thinking about it was a little unbelievable. However, when she thought about how Lai Xian did not even dare to breathe loudly in the end, Su Mei felt that it was reasonable. Yes, I will listen to master, Su Mei said obediently. Lin Fei was also quite concerned about Su Mei, his eldest disciple. Therefore, he was prepared to hold a small disciple reception after the 8 grandmasters had arrived. After all, this was the first time he was accepting a disciple on earth. Furthermore, it was a female disciple. A ceremony was still necessary. Lin Fei was not an old-fashioned person. There were still some rules that needed to be followed. He personally drove Su Mei back to the neighborhood. After leaving the neighborhood, he did not directly return to the Longting Villa. The villa had the evil sky formation and the wandering mountain, so there was no need to worry too much. He drove to Xiao Lan's residence. After all, he had not been here for a few days. Lin Fei missed Xiao Lan a little. As soon as he opened the door, Lin Fei heard a burst of laughter coming from the living room. After closing the door and entering, Lin Fei saw Xiao Lan and another female friend talking and laughing. He had to admit that the best friend of a best friend was indeed very beautiful. "Hubby, why are you here?" Xiao Lan saw Lin Fei coming over and immediately got up and went into Lin Fei's arms. "To see you, of course," Lin Fei said with a smile. "Is this your best friend?" "Old classmate, do you really not recognize me?" This beautiful woman with a pair of black glasses stood up and said with a smile. "Old classmate." Lin Fei really did not have much of an impression of this old classmate. Xiao Lan giggled and said, "I told you you've changed too much." A real girl changes 18 times between childhood and womanhood. It would be strange if my hubby could recognize you. When he was in class, Lin Fei was the most unremarkable, so naturally he was quite unfamiliar with his classmates. There were not many that he could remember, and after such a long time, he had almost forgotten all about them. Wait, let me think about it. If an immortal expert like Lin Fei really wanted to recognize someone, he would not forget. Therefore, it only took less than a minute for a blurry figure in his mind to overlap with the person in front of him. "You're the most inconspicuous girl in the class, Su Xiaowan." Lin Fei did not recognize this Su Xiaowan. After all, Su Xiaowan's appearance was the most ordinary kind, but this great beauty in front of him could instantly reach 80 points. "You really guessed it." Su Xiaowan reached out and said, "You're really amazing. There are really not many people in our class who can recognize me at a glance. You're also amazing. You've secretly won Xiao Lan's heart." Xiao Lan originally wanted to introduce her, but she did not expect her husband to recognize her at once. "Hubby, you're really amazing. Not everyone can recognize our Su Xiaowan." Many people at our last class reunion were dumbfounded. They thought she had walked into the wrong room. A lot of people laughed to death. Xiao Lan chuckled. "They are ordinary people, but they don't know who I am." Chapter 3997. In the office of the Yan Huang Battle Team's base, Tai Zhan was looking through some information while drinking tea. The information was about Lin Fei. It was a pity that up until now they had not found out what secrets there were in the Longting Villa. The progress was too slow. Although he suspected that it was because of the formation, Tai Zhan did not dare to arrange for people to sneak into the Longting Mountain Villa. After all, the relationship between the two of them could be considered to be in a honeymoon state. If they recklessly barged in and destroyed their relationship, then it would not be worth it. He understood this principle. He put down the teacup and found the door open. "Xiao Rou, why are you here again? Is Kai Shan up to something again?" Kai Shan was constantly challenging warriors in the East Sea. Tai Zhan could not stop him, so he could only arrange for people to keep an eye on him. This was the first thing Lin Ro thought of when she entered. Right now, the only thing she could hope for was for Lin Fei to make a move, or that person from the Lai family to make a move. Lin Ro shook her head. "No, it's that Lin Fei that you asked me to pay special attention to." "Lin Fei? What's wrong with him?" Tai Zhan could not help but feel a headache at the mention of Lin Fei's name. In Tai Zhan's eyes, Lin Fei was a troublemaker and a very unstable factor. But he could not solve this factor with violence. Especially after this incident, Tai Zhan did not dare to do it again. Moreover, Tai Zhan did not want the auction in 2 months to be affected in any way. After all, Tai Zhan had seen the effects of the upgrade pill. If he could get it, it would be a great boost to the overall strength of the Yan Huang battle team. So in Tai Zhan's eyes, as long as Lin Fei did not cause too much of a ruckus, it would not be a problem. Just now, we received a piece of news that Lin Fei bumped into the low-profile Lai family again. He even trampled on the Lai family's pride, Lai Xian, to the ground. After that, Lai Wuqing came and paid 10 million as an apology. Other than that, we also received news that Lin Fei actually took in a disciple, and it was a female designer from the studio, Sume, Lin Ro reported unhurriedly. When Taijan heard the name Lin Fei, he subconsciously felt that things were not good. Can't this guy just calm down for a few days? Iron Battle finally heard the news he was most unwilling to hear. Lin Fei had actually gone against the Lai family. At first, Taijan had been worried that Lin Fei would run into the Lai clan. He had not expected them to run into each other so soon. Furthermore, Lin Fei had trampled the Lai clan's third young master, Lai Xian, into the ground. This was not giving the Lai clan any face at all. With the temper of that person from the Lai clan, once he returned and found out about this, it was likely that he would start a huge battle. Taijan heard another thing. You said that Lin Fei intends to take a disciple, and a female one at that. Yes, this female disciple is called Sume. She's a jewelry designer. Her identity is clean. Take a look. Lin Ro handed over a document that listed Sume's personal information. She's just an ordinary girl. How did she enter Lin Fei's eyes? Could there be something different about Sume? Taijan frowned as he read it. We are also full of questions. In any case, from the information we've gathered, this Sume is very ordinary. There is indeed nothing special about her. However, she was chosen by Lin Fei, and he wants to take her as his disciple. This is like reaching the heavens in a single step. Taijan looked through the information countless times, but he could not figure out anything. His mind was filled with question marks. Oh, right, Chief, I also received another piece of news. I guarantee that Chief will be happy, Lin Ro said mysteriously. You're still keeping me in suspense. Hurry up and tell me what good news it is. If it's not good news, I'll punish you and send you on a long journey. Lin Ro stuck out her tongue. Chief, you definitely won't expect this. Just now, our Yan Huang battle team from the other provinces exchanged information. I saw a shocking piece of news. It said that Invincible God of the Shen clan, one of the 3 major clans in the south, seemed to have met with some misfortune and almost died. Right now, the entire Shen clan is in a mess. Many experts have been invited over to treat him, but in the end, there was no effect. Chief, do you think this matter has something to do with that Lin Fei? Lin Ro was now more and more impressed with Lin Fei. Based on a woman's intuition, she subconsciously felt that this matter was caused by Lin Fei. What? Something happened to Invincible God? What happened? Taijan stood up in shock. I heard that he's plagued by bad luck. Wherever he appears, all sorts of things will happen. It's something that no one can even imagine. He can choke to death eating an apple, and he can even get appendicitis. Even a perfectly good house can collapse. Don't you think that's weird? Maybe it's because Invincible God has done so many bad things that even God can't stand it anymore. Lin Ro laughed. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe that such a thing could happen. Taijan suspected that he had heard wrongly. If something like that really happened, then the Shen clan would indeed start to fall into chaos. At least Invincible God had the support of many clans. Just as Lin Ro had said, Taijan also suspected Lin Fei at the first instance. After all, Lin Fei was too mysterious. Immediately arrange for people to continue investigating and find out exactly what happened. Also, send Su Mei's information to the headquarters and see if they can find anything. Now, the entire Donghai seemed to be in turmoil, and the source of all this seemed to be Lin Fei. This made Taijan very worried. He was just having a cup of tea, and then something like that happened. Lin Fei, who was in Xiaolan's room, did not know the troubles of the Yan Huang battle squad's chief Taijan. There is nothing more worrying than being unable to grab it and unable to touch it. Old classmate, you haven't seen me for a few years. You have to go to the class reunion this time, right? Su Xiaowan said with a smile, If you don't go, everyone will forget about you. Lin Fei listened and laughed. The beautiful lady has said it herself. If I don't go to the reunion, won't I embarrass all of you? I will definitely go to this reunion. There was nothing going on in the past few days, and there was nothing going on in the villa. Lin Fei did not care much. As for Kai Shan, he was definitely still slowly accumulating knowledge and would not look for him. It was better to go out and see old friends and classmates. After all, Su Xiaowan had given Lin Fei a great surprise today. After knowing that it was a reunion, Lin Fei did not refuse. After all, Xiaolon had mentioned it last time. That's a deal. Don't worry, I will definitely go, Lin Fei said with a smile. 2K Reading Network.